here. This is going to be quite a bit of action.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Look, Edward, Kai Baos, Panda Man, formerly known as CDY, currently known as Mystic Glade spawn coming out here. This is a lot of Fireflies right south of here. So a lot of players are just looking for those on-spot loots for the high tro frequency. It looks like Kai Baos is going to be able to pick himself some fist blades, blue armor. He's looking at DRT Fong, who doesn't have any armor whatsoever, but does have halberds, one of the great mind game weapons to be available for him, especially off his early game spawn.
Yeah, you can play all the mind games you want, though. I don't know if you're going to be able to deal with the fact that Kai Bao has that rare armor to start off with, and that means that Fong is going to try to go on the run here. Maybe try to kite Kai Bao towards some of the other players that we have seen spawn and drop in the area. Unfortunately, Fong, I don't think is able to buy enough space for the time being. Kai Bao, with a good phase rush, going to be able to get onto the bridge, and in kind, Fong still very much in his sight lines, trying to cross around now. Here comes Arano, who's just going to try to take to the skies, looking to run away from Kai Bao, who has basically taken full control of the hot springs.
And Ronald actually was able to find 2 Fireflies, so he's ready to go into a fight right now. He's chasing down Fong, who doesn't have that armor as mentioned, so he's going to have a lot of a difficulty of position in trying to disengage from this. GG Shaw already read the sightlines with the blue armor, blue staff, a really strong range keep weapon for those RMBs. But for Fong right now, he's just trying to find his way off the cliff side, looking to try to disengage. I don't think this lobby's going to allow this, Naraka.
Yeah, there's one of those opening volleys where you realize, hey, I'm probably going to have to take the death here. We're going to see how much chaos we can cause and how many people we could take with me, though, in kind. And because of that, Fong is managing to stay alive, and now we are getting some splash on effects with multiple people clustered. There are going to be other fights breaking out, but now Fong has made contact. Unfortunately, CDY is on top of them, and there isn't enough space. Trying to force through Temple for the time being. Actually, a few people getting caught up on the door frame or getting caught up wanting to fight one another before they enter the door frame. It's Arano still giving chase.
What a difficult fight for Fong to find no value in terms of finding any armor off any of the tros, and the lobby still tries to chase him down. You're going to see a nice goalie throw from Arano from downtown, able to securing the kill. He's going to back off immediately. In the background, we actually saw FPX Star is able to find that Volpine's essence inside of Arcadia, so the lobby might not even realization for it and seeing whether it's going to be available to be able to be picked up. Spider finding elimination off of Frostbus, which a longsword might come into play into the southern side of the map for those spawns, but Arano picking up the first elimination in the game, but Spider already on 2, it seems as if.
Yeah, and it seems to be out of nowhere. Spider, once again, just working his magic, getting to a very dominant position here, wanting to get as much value before the first realm of gang as possible. As now we are going to look upon Kai Bao versus Sha, who also in the area. Sha doing a decent job of trying to answer this 2 team, but unfortunately is going to get heavily counter hit under the stair step right there. Kai Bao now waiting in the wings, just trying to see how much Sha will be able to wear down the other player, but for diving in, unfortunately, doesn't really seem to read this approach. Shaw changing targets, getting 2 really good shots for Kai Bao, who's now trying to just recover their armor on the far side of this fight. Puimo, but also still at full health, is happy to now take what Kai Bao was trying to do and try to turn it on its head. Now waiting for these 2 fighters to just wear each other down before the cleanup for hopefully 2 kills.
Now, this is the thing about GG Shaw in the bad position as a Liam is that his combo breaker being down and whatnot. He finds elimination. He finds a parry. He gets a Sobel and 1,000 heal to be picked up here. And even with the Forbidden Seal in effect for the next couple of seconds, he doesn't have an ultimate to confirm this kill against Huayman. But the thing is that Huayman, he's going to be backing off. He's already going to have himself to have the musket shot, nice grapple cancel, enabling it. And he's going to get that reset that he was so desiring for it. But the body's going to be given to GG Shaw, the Dark Tide coins as well. For the musket shot, it looks like HM is going to be making sure he can not stop the heals coming out from GG Shaw, because GG Shaw has a combo breaker ready to go. He can space out of the Forbidden Seal, and this could be an easy peasy lemon squeezy moment for him to pop his ultimate and just start the TOD process.
Yeah, needs to get that ultimate off, though. Has gotten the reset going. Now trying to find an Twimu in a lot of trouble. Decided to go back in and maybe punished for doing so. Pokeball is out. And credit to Shaw. This is exactly what I wanted to see out of this player that really did struggle in their last outing. If you want to be able to break past that barrier, make it up the rankings, this is what you got to do to try to push towards finals. That being said, Huimo has gotten an ultimate on Syra in response. And now, because of that game theory where you always want to ult second, there is a chance for things to be turned around. Unfortunately, they are at low health. Shaw knows this, is going to stay in the area, finds enough cover to not just get immediately melted by Syra Laser. Now going in for the killing blow, gets the cross up. Huimo in a lot of trouble, tries to get the jump back. There's a combo breaker broken. Dual Blade's not going to be enough for Shaw to lose their armor. And now it's going to be full on chase, and GG's happy to take it.
No combo breaker for the next 8 seconds. HM's going to be looking for one heal. So is GG Shaw, making his way to a shot. Now, Moonbane Charm being purchased by Spider to confirm the Rummy Yang. One blue focus to the next. No parry coming out from HM's looking for the jump LMB to the R&B. There's a splice from the spinal cord. That is HM's first elimination. Nearly 7,000 Dark-Tide coins. He could look to save the money for later just to ensure that he can pick up some gear. But Spider, 2 eliminations. Moonbane to be casted out at the Fairies Pavilion with WZ Zerano just on the nearby vicinity. It looks like Spider with his purple armor and his blue longsword. This is one of the most premier choices to be chosen into the Rummy Yang, and especially him being Liam makes it a definite usage of his time.
Well, SV, I was giving all that praise to Shaw. Unfortunately, they just couldn't close the deal. I'm a little bit worried about that being the case here. He really needed to win that duel, I think, to make the statements that I'm looking for on broadcast. Can he actually be one of those people that breaks past that red bar in that player's standing so that they have a chance at keeping their hopes of a deep play alive? This is where the winners and losers are going to be made, my friend, especially as we're moving towards that first realm of Yang.
This is going to be a spotlight right now for Kaibao to pick up that Rummy Yang pass. F2 burned out from Star, who still has that Volpine's essence, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to see. But for Kaibao, scare rushing up to the top line, try to break that line of sight for the catch. Gets caught by the fist plates 1, but not the 2. This is good for Kaibao to look for this ultimate to deny Chushaing from Bauda, just to try to make sure he can space us out. Rummy Yang pass for another 40 seconds, and this ultimate's going to be done far in between with 20 seconds or so to spare for the players around to just try to get this Syra out of the game and just seeing about whether or not that pressure is going to be worthwhile for the effort.
Yeah, interesting that we are actually going to see Star just try to take point here, even while the Syra ultimate was still up. Going to take quite a bit of damage to their armor for their efforts, but Kaibao is going to stand strong. Still has the Rummy Yang pass, still fully healed up, ready to go in for another fight. Star trying to cross around a little bit slower on the approach. Kaibao just going to wait for them on corner. Back over to the Rummy Yang now. Good movement. Star finally going to find the catch. Kaibao now down to about half armor. Trying to answer back in kind. Has the fan at their disposal. Star, though, getting the better of this chase down exchange. Kaibao just going to press the F and get inside of the Rummy Yang to fight against XY.
Now it's going to be a chance between 2 attack Jades, 2 mitigation Jades up against XY's purple halberds on the Tumult. One of his premier picks to be chosen. One of the highest tier weapons to be on available status in the field of play right now for Kaibao. Looks in the scare rush and try to kite out because he wants to see what the chance is in finding out what weapon rarity by the damage taken from this Tumult. Now for XY, scale rushing around the corners. He's waiting out, takes a nice musket shot to the face. So does he twice. And now XY looks for the scare rush for the neutral. If he can try to go for the stagger, double blue focus from Kaibao. Gets caught with 1-2s, maybe a 3-piece. Otherwise, he might be looking to try to get himself a wild haymaker blue to try to chip out the health bar for that armor.
Yep, XY in a really good position here for the Temmels. Gets the counter hit, trying to find another entry point. Kaibao happy to keep playing the kite fight. Has that musket available. Is just going to be caught out, though. Good dash on in. And now there comes the parry as well. XY still almost on full health. Kaibao down to half with no armor and a lot of trouble. Another scale rush, trying to buy a bit of space. Trying to go on the cross-up as well. XY happy to just continue to answer back. That being said, goes a little bit too deep, knowing that Kaibao still had the ultimate available. And that means that this is the chance for the Syra to make a mark, getting the heals that they can, trying to get the laser beam as well. XY going to be set on a chase across the arena. Staggered, isn't able to get behind a pillar in time. Here comes Kaibao trying to cross this one up, but that being said, Temmel still has the sandstorm available. Going to activate it now. Kaibao desperately needs to try to run for the hills, doesn't have the resources with which to do so, and that means that it's going to be XY finding another entry point. Kaibao in a one-touch situation, trying to scale up, can't do it, and that is going to be XY walking away with the victory in the realm of Yang.
Nice fight, nice positioning from XY, using the ultimate at just the right moment as a secondary usage, getting himself with soft stuff Gecko Flip with purple Nunny's gold Hong Sword. This is a great matchup for him, especially on the Tumult option and getting the purple armor upgrade. Another thing to note is that he does have advanced heal. That was something that was proccing in the back line for him while he was taking a bit of damage off of those hits from the fan and such. That's where we're going to see OUG's Kaibao go down. Now, switching on over back towards Arcadia, we see JL's HM with that gold staff after his victory in the Rummy Yang. He is chasing out FPX's Star, who in this manner of speaking didn't enter the Rummy Yang, wasn't able to, still has that Volpines, and also has that Rampage, which would be a big upset for the usage of HM, considering he may have to use his Common Breaker almost immediately.
HM gonna find the entry point here. That staff giving so much range. Star, though, gonna be able to answer after the initial volley, doing a really good job trying to wear through as much of HM's HP as possible. Unfortunately, Star just might be a little bit equipped here and is going to miss on that dive in with the dual blades. That means that now they're gonna go on the run. They see that Frostivus is in the area. They really don't want to get continually third party throughout the course of this fight. That being said, while they are able to get the armor reset, I don't know if it's enough. HM is going to continue to give chase here, and I don't know actually know where Frostivus went, but I'm certain they're still waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I think Frostivus might be just looking for an opportunity here for that third-party strike. Usually we see that coming from him for the pistol shots or even from the bow shots just to land that last hit confirmation. He's going to find out really hard, really quick that even if he goes for the kill shot against Star, that Star still has 1,000 HP in his back pocket, so long as there's no burn procs. But HM is making a nice rotation around here and just goes straight towards the center of the map and wants to make sure he can get himself positioned for the next Roman Yang once that location gets spotted out. Meanwhile, over by the cave, north of the ancient stock cave, we are going to see Spider, Edward, as well as Kai Bao on the vicinity. Now, Shayo with no way of surviving for the next 3 minutes unless the Roman Yang depletion gets parried. Going to be seeing whether or not Edward can catch out Spider, because Spider is on the pole sword Liam and it's gold ready. So any sort of blows coming out from Edward will come out really strong, really fast.
Good movement from Edward, trying to stay on top of Spider. Spider needs to try to stabilize here and now. Already got a bit of armor to start this fight off. Pokeball fired off early in this one, but I don't think this is going to be enough. Edward will be delivered over for Kai Bao. Kai Bao doesn't want much of this fight. Is going to just kind of fall into the back line of this one as Spider now is trying to exchange some blows. Edward, though, uses this time to be able to scale up the cliff face. Might be home free in this one. If not, just forcing more of a deep engage between their competitors. This could be a really good situation to capitalize, and HM could walk away with a lot, as could Edward, as both of them are on the periphery of the fight. Spider, though, with the counter hit, I spoke too soon. Edward now in a desperate situation, gonna have to try to get down the cliff face, and now everybody's focus is going to change. They see the weak player, they want to make a mark. Spider trying to find an entry point. Edward in a little bit of trouble, will be able to restore a bit of armor here. Spider with double blocks, needs to try to find a new angle in. HM approaches from behind, decides to not go for the full engage, instead wanted to play with that musket that has led them to several solid shots beforehand. Kai Bao now also on the chase. Spider happy to just back off from this one to leave the volatility of that fight behind, but Kai Bao wants to try to answer back, almost catches the hook shot there using the flurry of blows coming through from the dual blades. HM now on top of Spider. Spider trying to respond in kind, really close to the shadow now. Anybody being forced in here can be put into a scramble situation. Spider too stunned up. He is going to be wiped.
This is exactly what Kai Bao was looking for. He knew that Liam didn't have an ultimate to be ready, and knowing that whether or not it was Spider comes out to the elimination with the Soul Balloon, but there's going to be Edward getting caught out, no chance to use the ultimate, and getting immediately deleted by the lobby. HM finds the elimination and is looting the body before that Roman Yang entry point is opened up. XY is in the background, just looking for some reset here, but Kai Bao finds that upgrade. Purple armor on a Syro with the dual blades. This is something that comes out to be an upgrade for sure, but with 0 eliminations, he wants to try to create some blood in the water. He's looking to see what the players are doing in the background, and if he can incite some violence, just as if he was looking to burn an ult, which has already occurred from Jail's HM.
Yep, HM's just going to try to keep Roman Yang pass. Ooh, gets caught by the edge of the sandstorm there. It doesn't really matter for the time being. Syra ult comes out. Everybody scatters like cockroaches. This is a dynamic we've seen several times here at SV, as Kai Bao is going to use this time to just recover, decides to actually not go back in, doesn't want the smoke for the time being, and plus we got a big melee going on right here. That is about as representative in a little bit of trouble, having to just dive for cover to recover a little bit of armor in kind. I don't think they're going to be one of the people in the realm of Yang. Yeah, we got Spider versus HM, and this is what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Seeing a Juggernaut, it would be a great pickup for Spider to start stacking that up, especially with his Roman Yang victory against Jail's HM. Now, for the drop down blue, I'm looking for it. There's going to be a stanchion parry coming out there. Not going to lose the gold staff, but there's going to be the LMB set up for the 1-2. Look for a slap attempt to mix it up. 1-2 this time from Spider's end. Finds a nice R&B, burns out the combo breaker, and if HM looks for the jump LMB stagger, he's going to look to it towards using his ultimate to mitigate that Liam possession. There's going to be no possession for the first orb. The second one might be coming out from Spider, but he's going to have to be very cautious about it. There it is, but there's so much HP left for Syra here that it might even make a difference. She could just fall down slowly, and for Spider to get a full reset while HM is going to look the time to make sure he can get himself healed up before his ultimate expires.
Yeah, Syra being able to just sustain and actually get a little bit more of the ultimate after the Pokeball comes out means that Spider wasn't able to fully capitalize. Yeah, he got the armor reset, but now it's still a pretty even fight. HM happy to take it. Going to lose that first exchange, though. That's going to be a blue focus here. Spider getting in, wanting a little bit more. HM firing off the counterpoint, will be able to get solid contact, and in kind evens up the health bar between these two fighters. Spider 18 seconds away from being able to get a combo break. He is in a scary position. HM happy to play around this corner, and now that's going to be Spider trying to get vertical height, will be caught all out for doing so, staggered. Now less than half health. HM is looking for the killing blow.
This is going to be a difficult situation for the next 30 seconds. I mean, Spider has his combo breaker coming up. He's looking for the LMB, R&B. Oh, might be going for a crouch LMB. No, goes for the 1-2-3 off the corner. Jump LMBs like that, comes out with no victory for his opponent. Spider comes out against HM and his Roman Yang, and we're switching on over to Star. The Star member, Vulpine's Essence, is still something to keep in mind about, and DRG Fong is now not the person who wants to find out the hard way, which comes out with this parry. X-Star looking to try to go for a TOD. Okay, there it is. The combo, the grapple bomb into the R&B. Immediate kill potential once that parry was secured.
Yeah, that's brutal to see. Fong, somebody sitting at the bottom of the leaderboards, really needs to be able to get the material advantage from the Realm of Yangs in order to not only get to Final Circle, but beyond that, SV, really push to the point where they just have immense advantage in basically every single game. You can't afford to play conservatively, so I commend him for going Realm of Yang. Unfortunately, if you're dropping there, it just makes it so much more desperate for you to do anything now.
Exactly. Switching on over to Zhisheng from Team Bada, finding a blue focus against XY, who commits toward using their F skills, looking to try to throw it so they can go right onto cooldown. Zhisheng finds a nice garish, doesn't get caught by the wind blast, but Frostfist is here. He is looking to utilize himself in the position as another tumult in the game. He does not have ultimate though. He is currently at around 20 percentage points, using that Hong Sword, having purple armor, and having to actually utilize these 7 grapples, hopefully safely put, but using the economy of it, because Zhisheng is out in the zone. If the players want to look towards it, they'll look for it. There's a pistol shot attempt to try to chip off of Zhisheng's health bar. He himself having almost ultimate ready. Off to the north side towards the Black Tortoise Gate. We are going to see JL's HM in not a great spot. 4 minutes left on that Realm of Yang depletion, but no armor to his name. And the ultimate still on standby. We'll have to use it defensively.
Yeah, the ultimate defensively in a position where you need to be able to deal with depletion is just really brutal. Spider already fully kitted up. It's going to be called out here. I just don't think there's any risk of Spider actually dropping in a position like this. Nobody wants to be able to try to take the cleanup side of the fight, so HM can't even just try to go for Lacet or something like that. Goes for the chase down. Now going to have to just back off. Hasn't done enough work. Will try to just find a reset, but the time is ticking.
This is going to be HN's position right now to see if he can reposition back towards the center of Imperium. Otherwise, the players are looking at him with red crosshairs. Now, 4 players are over by the Hall of Worship. This is onto the western side of Imperium. Star finds himself for an uppercut attempt. Doesn't get caught to the dazzle there, but we're going to see the rooftop Raptors get engaged upon it. As you can see, HM is getting immediately come through. Star looking for the ultimate, goes for the imprint. Might be looking for the flank here with the dash. If he can get that, that's a free kill. Obviously, HM gets caught through elimination from Spider, and that's going to be White Tiger's prowess. That's his 5th elimination, folks. That's right at the end game where he is able to get this elimination with no punish from anyone in the vicinity.
And this is something that people need to take note of. Spider is somebody who's willing to take risks. Sometimes that costs him. We saw him absolutely drop in game number 5 as his first day competition, going for a salty run back. But now, even though he got dropped in an earlier fight, look at the way in which he's able to bounce back immediately. His Realm of Yang victory, cascade that into kills, now sitting very pretty at the top of the leaderboard, looking to stack up even more points. He's happy to actually sit back here and play this fight strategically, knowing that other people are desperate for points in a situation like this. Fong being one of those people in particular, he's just looking for a new angle.
Exactly. Yeah, Fong right now, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left before Realm of Yang depletion starts to kick in and knocks him out of the lobby. With 9 players total in the lobby, there's 8 opponents for him to look towards. Them one hopefully not being a White Tiger's prowess target. But GG Shaw finds himself with Fong. Fong looks for the 1-2-3s there. I saw it. The blue focus comes out. He has to invest that combo breaker and hold the blue just to make sure he doesn't get staggered by Shaw. 1-2 crouch LMBs. Liam gameplay could be coming out here for the grapple extension. There it is. GG Shaw finds the R&B. Nicely done. And the jump LMB confirms the kill. Fong goes down. Shaw's at 2 eliminations right now. Still has ultimate to be on standby. Spider, though, and Arano, they're right next door. In case he comes out the zone, they can start shooting shots, start looking at his HP, and just get a feel for what this Liam's going to do next.
And you can see the frustration on the player cam there from Fong. It's pretty noted. Given that he's still in 18th place, he was unable to get any kills, and therefore not a whole lot in the way of accumulated score lines for this first game, SV. He's going to need to continue to play aggressively right now. It just kind of feels like he's outmatched, but we've got quite a bit of the lobby still available and ready for the next 8.5 minutes. Really looking forward to see if Spider can actually break double digits in this one.
It will be incredible because it's been a really long time since we've seen a 10-kill game from a player, and there's enough opportunity right now for him. Overcomer to be utilized, having a fire arrows target lock, but more importantly, that Sunwing shot, which is maxed out. He's at level 3 Juggernaut, and even though he has himself a jabbing, if he finds himself a staff, huge amount of damage potential. Not even just the damage potential, the mind game with the jabbing as a Jade. It really comes out to play. We're going to look at this replay, though, as it comes from Star and Fong. This is the second Realm of Yang where we saw between DRG Fong and FPX Star.
And good stuff to open up from Star, getting in with the twin blades. Fong going to try to go for a TOD with that hook shot at close range. Isn't able to get much, though. Star happy to give the chase down, and that forces the ultimate out of the Syra. Fong actually getting a bit more damage than I was expecting here, getting the good reverse juke onto Star, and now the FPX representative is in a dicey situation. Fong basically at full health. Star basically having to scramble, trying to use the column for as much coverage as possible. Gonna have to use the combo breaker. Frozen. up. Clinks there, not going to be enough. Actually, Fong going to be thrown back, and now we got to reapproach. Both of them able to get a little bit of healing in the situation. Star dives on in, wants to try to find an entry point. Fong happy to try to trade back. There's the counter punch, and now it's DRG's representative put into that desperate situation, and that's why we saw the fight outside the realm of Yang. That is a demoralizing way to drop inside of the circle.
Definitely, especially seeing how that Volpines had been burned and Fong Yu had to burn through 1,000 more HP or health points to go through. But one parry to the next, allowing for the TOD to begin, and Star was able to capitalize on it flawlessly. Now Spirit Will contention. This is a White Tiger's prowess. Frostbus not proccing his ultimate. Spider, though, is definitely looking towards it. Star gets himself the refresh for the Rage Bar. That means he gets an additional dash to be available. 2 dashes to be exact for Star. GG Shaw looks himself in terms of making sure he can utilize his F skill, but now the ultimate comes out. Liam is active. Justina ultimate is looking to make sure they can lock down one of these tumultuous, because whether or not she can find the right one, XY is getting immediately targeted down by Chishang, and Spider already has his orb ready to go through and throws his opponent while looting up the body. And Kai Bao just looking to try to find some pieces of the wear and finding any loot that he can muster his health upon, but also just to be able to pick it up for the endgame circle.
All right, Star just buying a little bit of space for the time being. Gonna meet up with Shaw, who will get a good deflection here. Star immediately wants to get right back in there, knowing that there's a chase down. 2v2 currently up here near the shadow. Gets the break of the shield versus Shaw. Shaw not so far back. They're going to have to try to go on the run. Won't be able to find a way out of there, though. Good coverage by Shaw and company means that now multiple people are going to have to run back away from this one. Unfortunately, Shaw not going to be the one benefiting from this situation, as we see middle screen here. It's going to be Arano Kai Bao and then Bao's representative all together. Spider just waiting inside of another Moonbane Charm. This is the second of the game, ready to prepare for final circle. It doesn't look like he actually has the ambition to go for the double-digit kills, but SB, I think that's the right call. Just get yourself into a position where everybody is worn down and you are ready to go to clean up.
Yeah, we've seen a majority of the 8-kill first place wins, and it'll still be more than enough. That's what's necessary. For Spider right now, he also has a nice mitigation of that advanced heal, so if he does take a little bit of damage, he can back off. Such as for Kai Bao right now, he is up against 2 opponents, but he doesn't realize. Star gets himself in a position just to be able to hold check the blue focus, and now forcing out the Syra ultimate, and an unfortunate circumstance right now, especially with the Moonbane proccing for the next 20 seconds. His options are limited in terms of positioning, so the further he goes in, the further the players will go out, but the potential of getting caught by one of those Moonbane blasts are too high, but he's risking it. He's got to make sure he can get his full re-sustain from these orbs, and before his ultimate ends, and seeing if anyone's looking for those bow shots, Arano with the scatter shot, and I believe he does have fire arrows circle out, which means if he gets caught by a hit, that's 3 seconds of no dodges. So that's going to be burning himself out from getting caught by one LMB to the next, and the story is already giving me history from that point on.
Yeah, the question in a situation like this is who's handing off aggro next? The answer is actually Kai Bao isn't quite out of the woods like I was expecting. People know that the Syra currently doesn't have a lot in the way of tools available, and they're about to lose armor as well. Here comes the chase down. Star wanted to find an entry point. Kai Bao goes to use the combo breaker. There's the counter punch, and down goes this member of OUG.
This is tough right now, but Star is picking up the pieces, I should say, from the players and their bodies. He's been able to get a lot of loot gains from this point on, and this really comes into value from him getting that Volpine's essence and then surviving that Roma Yang fight. So that really just sets him through from the point of where he was at 1 elimination up to 3. Now he's into a very, very healthy spot. Gold armor, purple dual blades, kind of the conundrum that players would really like to see themselves in, and especially having a Hong Sword on standby as well, just for him to go for any sort of securement with a touch of death. But for Frostbus right now, right? 0 eliminations, has purple Hong Sword, has a blue musket, still has his ultimate on standby. The lobby would probably want to look towards either the Shayos or towards the Tumult, either or. When it comes in the endgame circle, whoever is going to be the one to, shoot the cannon first will be coming out. Shishang, though, having his Jades lineup, having an engraving, a Rampage, Alchemy, a Sap Jade, more importantly, in his kit. That's just going to be a Jade that if he finds any parries, he's going to get a lot of sustain, a lot of AoE damage to come through from anyone in the sidelines. So we haven't seen much of Arano, but he's been able to stack up pretty predominantly the Jades in his hand. So just with the soft step Gecko Foot, he gets a Starfall. He's got himself a lot of mitigation to work through into his endgame circle, but Spider is probably the most stacked of them all. Has an Overcomer, has Juggernaut level 4 now. This is another additional of 13% attack points to be added on top of his 12, which means that he is the highest damaging person in the lobby, and Star has a trick up his sleeve. He's got himself an Octa Slash Blade. If he decides to throw it out in the endgame circle, it's gold focus for him to be able to knock people back, and is just looking to hope and just locking them down.
Yeah, and it looks like for the time being, everybody is going into that kind of game mode where they're happy to claim their little towers, claim their little space, and just try to force everybody else into worse positional calls.
Someone's a menace, bro. They just activated the Forbidden Seal. This is no ultimates for the next minute.
Yep.
So love full pressure.
Loving the null field call. I think this is actually really smart given how warping some of the ultimates we see out of these top characters are right now. Very good at trying to sustain, but also using the seal at this current point in time means that it isn't available all the way through the total closing of the circle. There's going to be a little bit of space here at the very end where the likes of Syra will be happy to try to sustain back up. Justina as well. Spider still very much in the top position, getting the drop on Frostivus. Frostivus doesn't know what's happening, trying to find a recovery point. Loses all their armor in this exchange, and I think their life is about to fall as well. Down to a sliver, being forced all the way into a corner. Knows that they can't go into the storm. Will try to pop an ultimate. It is not enough to do anything. Spider's a menace.
Spider is a menace, bro. He dropped out. He's at level 5 right now for the Juggernaut, so he's going to be doing a lot of chunky damage with the gold pole sword. He already showcased what he was able to do with 4 sacks. Spider has himself no worries right now, just holding back to where he was just originally. Frost was going down, though, makes this a top 4 player situation. Spider himself having the waiting game to his pocket. The Forbidden Seal should be expiring in just a moment. Arano trying to scale back and forth. The designation for your positions right now is closely to be tied towards the center of this area. Now, grapples and just getting to the skybox usually comes to more of an availability once this chance for the Justina gets it. But one thing is for certain, if anyone is able to knock her down and lock her away, we've seen Justina's come out against 3 opponents at times and just getting a multiple of refreshes, 1-2s against Spider. A little bit of a hiccup right now for the lobby. They're not going to be focusing him down. He's going to go right back up to 100% HP.
Yep, Spider looking for a scale rush, just taken to the skies once again, just trying to hit someone on the way back down. It looks like all the other fighters are currently just going to respect the presence. It's going to be Bowder's representative first one to try to make a mark. Good job on the chase down. Really, in a situation like this, the pole sword, maybe that reach is invaluable. Spider actually is just going to have to go to the far side of this wall, get the heals that they can, but they're actually going to be hit across the box here. And this means that Bowder's in a great situation here. Star as well, full armor available. We're gonna get to final circle. 4 members still left. Good deflection back. Arano in a lot of trouble here. Star still trying to sustain full health or as much health as you can have in this final circle. Spider trying to hang on, barely down to a sliver right now, and somehow he still walks away with it. SB, how is that possible?
Impeccable positioning. He got himself the heal of our vitality, and he almost got ambushed by Star there, which was sad. I was a little bit spooked right there, especially off of the double shield throws that came out. But then again, Arano comes out from the high ground last.
Yep, and we should be getting action right off the bat here. Kaibao, of course, rounding the corner, looking to loot up as much as possible. Getting some decent drops, only common armor to start things. Meanwhile, for those with rare, they want to fight immediately. Edward going to just kind of get run around here by Chu. And in kind, I think that this could just be a quick send back to a Spirit Altar if they aren't careful. Good movement is around this rock, going to lay them face to face versus XY. And yeah, unfortunately, Edward, I think, just got the short end of the stick when it came to these exchanges. We'll get the armor swap. Still not enough. Good job buying space with the distance maker. Unfortunately, with Spider here as well, a counter hit on one doesn't mean you're going to get victory for the other. Edward down to just a sliver, will be able to stabilize with another common armor swap, but basically has nowhere to go.
Literally, Shashank finds that RMB, finds the sight line, gets the elimination +1, and now everyone's going to look for a reset value here and just spacing away. It's crazy that Edward found 3 armors there in the middle of the fight, but we're switching on over towards north side of Quarry. Kai back from Team OUG, chasing down GG Shaw. Ballistic shots coming from DRG Fong is connecting these hits. No longer. Now that we're spaced up towards the north, we are going to see the fight transition here. Nice parry from GG Shaw. Throws in the direction of Kai Bao. Very, very risky move, but he knows that the combo breaker was down for the Shio. There's the combo breaker again to be casted out. The lobby can take the control against this Shio even before her ultimate can come out if they can find the right necessarily push, and that's going to be the case with the elimination that HM was able to pick up.
Yeah, Fong fourth partying this fight, though. though, and it's going to continue here. Shaw, unfortunately, just going to get battered and bruised, forced back inside of the sandstorm. Looking for a recovery point. Fong with the rare armor, though, is happy to try to take this engage. Going to get caught up there. Here comes the combo breaker, and now we got more of an approach now from the representative of JL. Shaw in a lot of trouble, going to get juggled here. Fong, though, on the run, realizes the error of their ways, is just trying to buy a little bit of space and time here. Has the pistol to whittle down a bit more of Shaw's health bar, but no, Fong going to lose that trade at the very top of the cliff, and here comes the chase down. HM now going to hand off the tech chase. Fong in a lot of trouble, just gets bobbled, just gets juggled. HM gets 2, and Fong once again initiates and just cannot close.
I really like seeing HM's performance so far, taking a nice priority listening on what the situation gives him the advantage on. And now we're switching over to center bar between XY and Spider. Now XY is on the Justina, got the first dash to come out, spacing apart. Spider finds his uppercut opportunity here to burn the combo breaker from Chusheng, but Chusheng purple none, he's going to be spacing out. Nice disengagement from him towards Moonfall for Spider. Getting 1 leap right now is all that he needs. V2 does not connect. This gives a nice chance here for XY to disengage against this Akos once his ultimate runs out.
Yep, Spider just trying to hold his own here. Definitely wants to get better materials before he goes for any protracted fight, especially as relative to anybody else. If the chase down happens, he is going to unfortunately just fall behind when Realm Yang has been so central to his strategy. That being said, XY wants to take this to him. Chu as well. Tru's going to try to engage at close range. Spider loses all of his armor for this trade. Will be able to reset inside a hut now. The question is, how much longer can he drag this out for? Gonna buy some space to kite XY into Chusheng. Now it's Spider just waiting out these two, trying to see if they're going to disengage and in kind. Can he reset from there?
It's a weird change of heart if they allow it, but that's going to be something where they could take full advantage of. We actually are going to lose Phosphorus straight up into this game before we even got a chance of seeing it, which is unfortunate. Well, we still have fights to occur because HM right now, he has no armor and he's getting chased by Arano. Arano having an opportunity right now to lock him down, but with the spacing that Lonnie can provide, plus the heal back that comes from her ultimate. This is spacing that gives him enough time, but maybe not enough. If Arano keeps his chase, if he has enough grapples, he can capture HM. But we switch back on over. Chusheng and Spider still at each other's throats right now. F1 consumed from Spider as Yakos, and if ISTOD can come through this corner. Oh, the reposition, but that might be extreme. Yeah, Chusheng finds the reconnection, disengages the third ball. Unfortunate, because now Chusheng is not going to go up against Spider, who has an ultimate ready to go in a couple of seconds.
Yep, there's the ultimate dagger. Good job working down the health bar. Might not even need to use it here. Chusheng all of a sudden in a scramble situation, trying to buy a little bit of space. Spider just going to follow through with their F. Ultimate activated, looking for the final killing blow. Chusheng going to go on the run here. Good cross up through the hut. Spider is going to be able to read it. Chusheng up to the other side. Now Spider actually gets caught up on the wall here. That buys some space, but he still has the hook shots available. Chusheng just using this time to try to recover what health and armor that they can. Spider going to be able to do the same. This half rare armor still built back up. Chusheng trying to go on the approach path. Spider actually now going to be the one in a health disadvantage. Might have to go on the run, forced towards the shadow. And now, while they will buy a little bit of time and space here, Chusheng is happy to just find the re-approach even this deep into the encroaching ball. Good job by Spider to try to find the exchange inside of the hut. Back in their favor now. They are going to look for a killing blow. Chusheng chases back, in trouble, up against the corner. Spider with the chase down. And this just shows why he's the top competitor in the lobby, turning things on a dime.
Man, 2 eliminations so far, has enough Dark Tide coins to make himself a nice armor or even to a weapon of his choice to be randomized through the selection process. Sorry though, as I mentioned, slow roll Liam gameplay. Picking up the purple longsword, purple armor. I mean, even with 1 elimination, he also has that bullsword from the Salvation Blade to be picked up from the puzzle, so he's good to go on that front. Has a Windy Trinity as his J, so he's not going to really use that, but Arano takes a full blue focus, loses all his armor, so he's definitely going to be looking for the back line. But CDY, he's looking to take this fight off head on and hoping to go for the 1-2s. Obviously, Star can look for a horizontal hold check, might be looking for a cross parry against the Halberds, but it's a difficult position, especially when the fifth place switch up comes out and burns his combo breaker.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the slow roll Liam gameplay is going to come to an end now. He needs to try to find a little bit of tempo in this fight. Already backing off, trying to just pass priority on Realm Yang in order to exchange that for keeping his armor available. CDY now going to be forced out, and I think that it's Fong currently trying to hold pass for Realm Yang. Unfortunately, losing that fight early on means that he is down in terms of value on that armor here, and now Spider has found an entry point yet again, wanting to force this one. still accumulating 2 kills at the start of this. He's looking for a third even before he gets on in for the duel of a lifetime. Falling in a little bit of trouble, will buy a bit of space with that scale rush, but Spider's happy to just say, okay, I'll handshake here and go to actually try to contend for the pass now. Star currently in possession of it, in a little bit of trouble. Will have to try to fall back as 2 members are currently trying to target on this position. Spider gonna get pokeballed on up here. Star burning this one early to just try to get the touch of death. Spider, though, down, loses the armor, and that could be enough for Star to just take this Realm of Yang and be happy with it. XY versus Edward gonna be our first duel.
Gonna see a Sky Punch enabled, but also an explosive armor for Edward, so look towards the knockback once his armor is depleted. XY in the drop down here, looking to scale rush passed out, looking towards the nunnies and looking for an R&B. That gets caught by an uppercut attempt, but Edward looks to use his time and spacing, gets all caught out here for some clinks here and there. Maybe looking for a drop down R&B. Scare rush is past the corner, and I know XY is looking for the nice scare rush. Doesn't gonna get it. Might get TOD'd here, potentially. Not gonna be the case. Obviously, he's gonna be looking for it, but he's not gonna catch her just because the rollout was gonna be immediate from XY, who still has ultimate, by the way, after his combo breaker to proc off.
Yeah, that means that Edward in a really good position right now. So this is going to have to be a really good Justina combo for XY to make the most of the ultimate here. Good cross up. There's the clink we were looking for. That being said, Edward, still with the health available, is actually going to proactively ult here, thinking that they're going to be able to use that quick dash to make a mark. XY going to freeze up Edward, trying to wait out the ultimate, but unfortunately, the ASE fighter will not get far enough around that to deal with the laser beam, and that will be Edward.
Getting his victory, getting gold staff, getting another Sky Punch, but also purple dual blade, so it's going to be a great upgrade for Edward's arsenal. Switching on over to the other Realm of Yangs, or even the victors from it, we have to see how those ones turned out, because for Edward right now, outside of the field of play as a Syra, he's got enough timing on his hands. 2 eliminations. We're going to see WZ Toronto and FPX Star take their chances here for their Realm of Yang and finding victory throughout. For this, though, Kai Bao chilling out in the bush. I respect it. We're looking for placement. I adore it. You're going to have to see Star, though. He's got gold longsword and he's a Liam, which means that he can go for a TOD, and he's a gold pole sword, so he can really catch a weapon swap with the pole sword off of an uppercut, and it's a done deal for anyone's health bar. They most likely will have the ultimate. They'll most likely look to use their combo breaker.
XY, both gonna res here. Coming on out of this one, we're looking at the Vermilion Bird's Might on everybody. It's kind of a quiet time right now, SV. So the question now becomes, who is going to be able to find that first group fight where somebody with, say, Yang depletion is able to actually try to trade back? HM versus Shaw actually going to be the engage. Wasn't expecting this. HM, I think, just wants to try to break this up. Go at least find a little bit more space and actually get a good angle onto Shaw. There's the start of it. Halberd versus Dual Blade.
Big mix-up if he catches it. Thing is, the halberds and the dual blades are a great weapon. Just look for just extensions to flop, which is like once they're on the ground and they get caught into the RMBs or anything in the nature of attacks, that they keep getting restaggered. And that really comes to the strength with the dual blades. Dual halberds, they'll just have extended range with those RMBs, those vertical attacks, those vertical blue focuses specifically. That gives it a little bit more potency in terms of catching somebody off of like a couple of meters versus where you are able to kind of space it through. Otherwise, both of them are great engagement weapons. You're actually going to see a Rana, though, but looking around with these cannon shots, and it really works into the lobby's favor right now for both of these opponents to go off against one another, HM and GG Shaw. The reason is both are main depletionists, and they both have their opportunity of being able to look for a fight between one another. But with the Rupture Gale Orb, Arano is chipping away their HP with the burns, and now seeing GG Shaw proc his ultimate.
Is Cannon just broken? SV, I feel like I've seen so many times a Cannon absolutely warp a fight in such a way that the person who basically is able to get the vantage point and use the Cannon just kind of comes out on top via splash damage, via space control, and in kind, they're able to take the fight if they want to. They could go for chase downs. A lot of these players with the immaculate movement that we're seeing out of them are basically able to find anybody from within 100 meters away. Now, speaking of which, Shaw on that prowl, looking for a kill here right up against the Shadows wall. Going to find a bit of a flank angle for the time being as XY and company all engage on top of the yurt.
spacing out right now in the zone. This is going to be where Arano can just making it very hard for GG Shaw to look for a reset. Even with the weakness escalation not as close as one might hope, Arano just looks to try to be this instigator of peace and harmony. Pretty much looking to make a difficult selection for GG Shaw to try to force himself to take the direction towards the zone. And while everyone is around there noticing the heals, Arano is not letting up. He wants to make sure that the armor is down. He actually looking for a scare rush here after the blue focus. Nice parry.
Oh,
Kep is down. Gets a soul bloom potentially. I'm not too sure if XY can pick it up. He's not going to be able to pick it up. And Arano is going to be spacing out and straight towards the zone, towards the next Roma Yang. Arano at 3 eliminations, being one of the kill leaders alongside with Edward in this game, as well as with Star.
Yeah, business as usual. Arano doing very well so far in these 2 games, in particular the second one really rising to the occasion. We got XY in a little bit of trouble here. That being said, HM also in a scramble situation. Both of these guys relatively low. XY going to get parried, will be able to common armor swap for the time being. HM though will get out of the shadow first. The problem is I just don't think there's anywhere for them to go, and XY is happy to play the waiting game at the base of this tree. HM looking for space. Good job on the halberds, actually breaking through that armor. Ultimate available, could just bring this one over to the end. There is the ultimate cancellation there. XY able to freeze up for long enough to stop the splash damage, and HM is actually though still in a good position. XY with no space with which to recover, just to try to make it happen with this little bit of help. They can't find anything. HM very happy with this.
Yeah, it's crazy too, considering that he had 1 second or 2 seconds before Roma depletion kicked in. So HM just found a victory that he really needed. He's got 20,000 Dark-type coins. He can head to the shop, he can head towards the Roma Yang and make his way forthright. But the problem is right now is if another opponent is stacked out of their mind, wants to make their approach, they could. CDY though and Edward, both Roma Yang participants coming out here for this fight. Edward with his gold staff, and looks like CDY with his purple fist blades. Now CDY just looking for the drop down, as it might be apparent of the fights. Ugh, CDY has an opportunity of catching the Syra, but Syra gold staff, not a fight I would take against.
Yeah, good heads up play there by Edward to start this one off with a favorable exchange for the Syra, and now it's a tech chase scenario. CDY looking for a bit of space, try to dive in, but unfortunately the zoning potential that the staff has available makes it so difficult to maintain a health lead. And now with that in mind, up against someone like Edward on the Syra means that now he gets the proactive ult in the chase down. Here comes the staggered CDY in a lot of trouble, needs to buy some space. Unfortunately, they're just going to get knocked out of the sky once again. Half health, no armor available in a very scary situation, as now Edward is so close that not only can you get the damage from the orbs, but you can also get the healing as well. And so CDY has to make a miracle happen on just a sliver of health. They do have the Akos ult available. It is going to activate it here, but Edward having to play keep away, has that notorious cannon we've been talking about. Here comes the chase down. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. CDY unable to get the last little part of that combo going. Edward up top, just looking to once again play the waiting game and buy a bit of space, knowing that CDY needs to make the first move. Now, no ultimate available. This Akos is an incredibly hairy situation. Here comes the staff. Break of the combo. I don't know if it's enough. CDY able to juggle Edward down to just a sliver, and he turns it around. Unbelievable stuff. SS1, are you proud or what?
Oh my goodness, the crouch LMV 1, 2, 3. I can't believe CDY went for it. That went all in this favor for the RNG process. Pride's full picked up, gold honk sword, purple halberds, velocity untold. My man is stacked as high as he can be, and CDY's first elimination comes throughout that. Edward slam death moment, bro. I felt that. I felt that on the camera. Every single time I see it, I'm like, man, I feel bad about it. But the thing is, Edward had an opportunity right there for looking for the parry, but it was just more about predicting versus reacting at that point. And that really just puts Edward in position right now. 3 eliminations, but Roma depletion in effect. JL's HM in the bush. There is a Bell proximity shot. Not going to be too close towards it, but we are switching on over here from the earlier fights. Edward in his replay in the middle of the Plume Castle.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Edward also in the middle of a brutal melee, already losing that armor, just getting juggled. Will drop down to the low level, unfortunately. Now it's going to be Kaibao heading off on the aggro. I think that was probably the end of that fight. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got caught in 3 targets to Reigns. Now Star insult to injury right there in the zone with the jump enemy. And he has a Phoenix Blast and the ultimate's active preemptive. I know there's going to make Edward going to be mad if anything comes up. Pistol shot comes through because the confirmed tick damage. Loses a lot of HP as a result. Edward Knight having the deciding factor. Empty armor, unfortunate. And that's going to be giving towards Star's elimination. Not using combo breaker, not using ultimate. I'm not sure what Star was looking or what Edward was thinking in terms of it. It's just kind of unfortunate not seeing either or being proc from him.
Yeah, Edward in a position where you're right on that bubble. You want to be able to break past that 13th spot in order to confirm your self-entry into finals here. started off this game very well. That 3 kills, definitely nothing to scoff at. Unfortunately, just couldn't convert in a situation like this. And now with that in mind, we're going to have to see how he performs for the remaining games on the day. We still got 4 of them left, but SV, this current second one is looking to be quite the action-packed duel, as right now we are across tower looking at multiple members just jockeying for position. Fallen just going to get jumped upon. Good heads-up play, going to respond with the dual plays. The problem is now they're getting peppered from afar by the splash damage from that cannon. Still, Fong able to make a little bit of space here. And I think that's Xuzhao from on top. What in the world is this engage?
This is going to be a funny position right now. It's like, all right, lock it in. Yeah, he's going to be looking for the ballistic shots here and there. But the thing is for Chishang, it's like he can snag off the hits off of HM. Lonnie's on top of the tower. You wouldn't believe it. Shail, Syra on the ground level with Nako, CDY as the Hong sword wielding demon has it going for himself in the distance. Tai Bao, though, Shail gameplay. Hoping to wonder if he's able to get as much damage as he's hoping for with that blue staff. But listen, he could have a pocket weapon like that Rupture Kill, or if he does have one to be picked up. Doesn't seem to be the case. Does have a Kabloom, does have a Stamina Strike. So if he finds dual blades, or even if he finds a Katana, I'm not sure he's going to go for a 1-2-3 vertical. But if he does, at least it's a surprise and it gives him some heal back. Otherwise, we're just taking this quarry positioning just to make sure that they don't show any sort of line of sight towards this Ballista Tower, because they know everyone else is going to be looking towards them.
Yep, either you are trying to find cover or you're right up against the tower siding, so you can't get just blown up by the ballista here. Looks like everybody going to begin to fall back from this vantage point. Looking at Star right now, chop it up for the time being, rolling a little bit, trying to find the right Soul Jades. This is somebody who's definitely already in a great position when it comes to materials, double legendaries for those Soul Jades, triple, quadruple, in fact, for their inventory. This is someone who just wants kills and wants to make the most of it.
It's crazy too. I think he also has an engraving, so that's a really big impact Jade as well. So if he looks towards, we might actually see in this replay between him and Fong the go long sword if he had picked it up prior towards his fight. Because an engraving is a jump R&B, that's an animation change and it's blue focus. He finds a nice parry, 2-point vertical, pistol shot, no Shail just yet. Star actually has it. There it is. Engraving reveal has a pistol shot to come out. 2 fights against Star where no players using ultimate. It's like they have a silence on them. Everything comes out towards Star though. 5 eliminations. My man's cooking at this lobby and he's making sure he can stay put in his position right at the top.
All right. Well, right now we are moving towards not necessarily final circle. Jesse, we got 8 minutes left, but the final set of players here could just initiate before we even get to the point where we're looking for full depletion of the map and being plunged into shadows. As people are seeming pretty willing to just take whatever fight as long as they have good vantage points. One of the things about this map here on Holorath is that if you are able to get a really good ranged weapon, you can oftentimes just plink away for a very long time. There's tons of crazy sight lines that you can leverage, particularly given how the shadow is closing.
I wonder if anyone's going to be making this White Tiger's prowess push, because the thing that happens is that anyone without the higher rarity weapons, they're going to feel it. Because they're not going to be able to deal as much damage. Rana looking to have this armor swap on standby is making his approach towards finding another one, but he sees 2 players. He's like, no, get back. Can't make the swap right now. All the players are around the vicinity right now for the Spirit Well, White Tiger's prowess, and being able to pick not only up to White Tiger's prowess as a buff, but also the gold weapon and the gold armor on standby for swaps, especially for the armor. Now the White Tiger's Spirit Well is going to be dropping in. The first round we didn't really see as much contesting for it, especially considering we saw Star pick it up with his Justina play, but this time around it makes it very, very interesting, because now everyone wants to take an opportunity here at this Spirit Well. Those who are at the bottom of the leaderboard definitely want to make sure that they don't have any sort of time wasted in chipping away.
Yeah, and there's no reason for Star to not come into this one. Of course, he isn't necessarily in need of the White Tiger's prowess, given the fact that he's built up a massively scary Liam in this position, but he's still going to try to venture in there, knowing at the same time that there's a chance to just pick up a kill or two. HM already going to have to ult in a situation like this. Down to basically no armor available. Orano on the flank edge, not actually going to try to dive in. Instead, just wants to recover as much as possible. HM still trying to use the sphere to the best of their ability, getting a bit of splash damage here and there, but by spreading, it means that HM is still the one at lowest health, and therefore he's going to be the target of basically everybody. Good movement into Hut. Manages to get the corner juke, sending OUG running. Star, meanwhile, center screen here, going to be able to keep control of the well to start things off.
Now Star looks towards and using his ultimate preemptive. He's going to be at 60% right now for the threshold for this Roma Yang, or the Spirit Well clear, I should say. And now he's forced out. Now the Rupture Guild ticks are coming out from the backline from Arano. Now he has to take a full reset. For this play, though, CDY is making the position right now to make it happen. Now he can proc ult beforehand and then get another ultimate on standby. That's going to be the biggest play from him from the Spirit Well. Now into the armor swap that he has. He's going through. He's making sure whether or not he's going to be making sure whether or not he can find a target off of the sight lines, because HM, he's at that store with 3 elimination. The players are chasing him down. Now the White Tigers is in effect. The Moonbane is in play. This is a spacing McGee chase down from like a duck hunt.
Yeah, we got Chujang and Kaibao on the low ground here. Moonbane coming out. CDY just looking for space. Has popped the Akos ultimate. Looking to try to find a conversion off of it. HM in his sight line will be able to get the knockdown. And now we get the angle on in. HM going to try to run back down to the low ground, already though in a lot of trouble here. Manages to clink CDY and stop the engage. And in fact, CDY gonna get caught out by the ground rupture here. In a scary situation, dodges out of the second one, but currently just has to play hot potato right now, getting juggled by the guys just from the Bane's Breath. Scary situation, and now it's actually looking like people like Chu Zhang made the right call by trying to stay low, trying to stay out of the center of this fight.
It's making very difficult decisions making for HM to stay in there, but he decides to stick with it. Now for him, he's going to reap the benefit of the rewards because no one's able to spot him out. No one's able to go ahead and finish him off. He got hit by a Moonbane Blast, but no one was there to want to commit towards it. Now for Arano, with 2 repair chests, it's really going to be him that's going to make a dent into this lobby's HP bar with that burn with the Jade, but more importantly, just seeing what the Syra can do when there's a world of Akoses and the Shael in the mix. And the Lonnie ultimate still having at least 2 Lonnies in the field between HM as well as with Bada Shishang. This is going to be where the gamers are going to be needing to make sure he does not survive that we saw like last time that WZ brought in round 1.
Oh, Star just entering from the sky. Actually, they get knocked down. Doesn't really matter in a situation like this. CDY knows he needs to get this kill here. Chujang, a situation where he knows he just needs to try to survive. No ultimate ultimate already activated here for Chujang, trying to get up top. Unfortunately, Arano is just going to follow through, now half health with no armor available. That is going to be probably end of the road for this Bound Out representative, trying to crouch low, doesn't matter. No ability to come back from that one, as CDY is going to continue his reign of terror, pushing in. Kaibao now juggled, pushed all the way through the storm. CDY happy to take the Soul Bloom, get back on out of there and look for someone else.
My man looked for the dash LMBs like it was given to him for free. It was crazy. Kaibao, no combo breaker, no problem. No Shael ultimate, definitely not an issue. CDY picking up 2 quick succession kills, 2 procs into White Tiger's prowess, by the way, that gives him that extra mitigation. So this is really working in his favor. Syra fight up against Arano, though. Gold fan. It's got to be very, very hopeful that the whole check R&B doesn't come out from her, because it's going to chunk away at his health bar. Whether or not there's going to be a backline push coming from the top side from Star, it is really up to the lobby and wanting to determine when they can want to sneak into this fight. This is one of those rare case instances of you seeing a fight between 1 and 2 targets, and with the lobby is just looking at him, like, what do we know we have to hold out for final circle, right? So having to catch them at the wrong opportune moment, that's the best time for them, especially with their, scoreboard, especially with HM, because right now he's in bottom 6 completely.
Yeah, I don't think that HM is going to be able to try to hold this high ground. This is very much the domain of Star. If Star wants to continue to take it, just by virtue of the item diff that we're currently seeing, JL's representative is doing what they can to try to continue to poke and prod. Maybe if they can instigate someone else tries to go onto Star first, realizing that they're the bigger threat, there's an angle. But as it currently stands, everybody is just buying their own little domains. We've seen this time and time again, just wanting to try to get their space necessary to not be the one to pull the trigger and be the first one eliminated coming out of the final circle.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy because 2 gold armors usually don't want to take any sort of fight and instigate those guys. But at the same time, you can burn them out. And looking at CDY having the heal over time with the, just being able to heal with the advanced heal, it's really going to be a difficult proposition right now. It's the same case as Spider with the advanced heal. And now CDY is the most stacked out in the lobby. The only difference is who's going to be looking at the Akos. The Syra still has a proc ult. I would say that'll be the first person to take a stand against combo breaker burn. That's step 1. Step 2 is making sure that she get her ultimate, because now she has no armor. And now for Arano, it's a wild haymaker throw for this ultimate.
Yeah, it's rough that Arano is going to have to initiate this early, and basically is finding nobody in a situation like this. Maybe trying to plink Star just down a bit, bait in CDY or HM to try to find a killing below. Unfortunately, there's just not much to do, and as soon as Arano comes out of this ultimate, it's going to be open season on the Syra.
This is difficult right now. Ronald getting caught out here. No ultimate, no fear from CDY, throwing the blue focuses back and forth. And the F1 to deny the Soulbloom pickup. CDY is able to crew it, but Star getting those Phoenix Blasts out just to showcase what he's worth. He's going to be able to also pick himself into the corner for a heal as HM looks for one R&B and picking up loot alongside the body. Now for HM right now, it is the only Lonnie in the game. And Akos' biggest counter is that Lonnie, especially when proccing ultimate and then getting caught, whether through the leaps or not. It is up to whether or not Star wants to get her out beforehand and just be in that 1v1 situation against Yakos.
Absolutely. HM currently taking the high ground. Unfortunately, that is going to deplete pretty quickly here as the circle will begin to close once again. CDY down low, just looking to make sure that they are the last one in. They want to be the third party in this three-player situation. Star trying to occupy up top for as long as it continues to exist. HM buying a ton of vertical space here on this lawn. He's just looking to play the sustain game. Has an entry point versus Star, decides to not take it. Sustains up top. CDY now dancing with Star, knowing that if either of them decide to engage, HM could just walk away with this whole lobby. Here comes the final push now. CDY on the approach pathway, trying to just knock down Star as much as possible and work through that armor on that Akos, having that ultimate activated, gets the tear through. Now on the backside of this one, CDY is going to just get hit by the representative of HL, or JL, excuse me, and as this happens, CDY comes through, but doesn't manage to land a killing blow. Unbelievable stuff coming out of JL.
Excremental. You know, it's crazy that we got two tight games in a row. I'll be honest. This is rare instances, and that's just one CDY actually takes MVP due to being tied for second, but also just getting the placement points, surpassing his predecessor, now giving himself his MVP for the MVPL season for spring. And now comes out, at least an elimination in this game, and starting off hot.
Yeah, no offense to Frostivus either. Although Frostivus has really been struggling as of late. Here we go. You see the move right off the bat from Kai Bao on the side, trying to use that invisibility to their advantage. Star with a good back off, though. I think he's going to get the best of this exchange. Good fallback. Kai Bao trying to right what was wrong via the tech chase. Unfortunately, he's down to just Sliver at this point. One-shot scenario here. Star just without the range, I believe, on this dagger. Gonna correct the cross up, gets the pickup. Good stuff starting off from this member of FPX, who, like I said, is kind of in a situation where I'd like to see them really play aggressive from minute one.
Exactly, and it was crazy that he had the right variation of the skill to catch elimination because it cast through walls. So for F2 to catch the kill roar was elimination. We are having Edward get elimination off against Ronaldo in the background. Meanwhile, HM is getting a chase on by Spider, who is on Justina. Having around 40% ultimate right now in the bar, finding a blue armor swap as he continues this chase down. Hoping to see if he catches Get Rush Blue, does not occur, but JL's HM just pushing on through towards Zest Winery with the purple armor. This is really a big loot game. If Spider can earn this purple armor in the early game, this is enough for him to snowball just for further throughout and just earning the Gartai coins and just making sure he can purchase a weapon later on or even for another ability of a Jade.
Masterful tech chase off of this, but now with the staff in hand, he needs to land the killing blow. HM still just trying to get across the wall. Unfortunately, gonna meet another one, and this is that big clustered fight we were thinking was gonna happen given where the spawns are coming through. Spider actually in such a scary situation. He doesn't just gonna scale rush on out of there. Chuzhang had full health, I was about to say. Unfortunately, going to lose a chunk of the armor here. Frostivus also going to back off for the time being, get the restore going, and now everybody's healthy, ready to look for another angle in. The question is, who's going to find who first? Shaw on the edge of this one, sees Spider clink on the corner, may actually try to go for the drop. Spider sees this happen, will just loot up for the time being, handshake away, and he kind of engage and walk back to just get onto a position where he feels favorable for a Realm of Yang.
He's being able to find a purple weapon, so that purple dagger especially can be converted into a crafting hammer and then made into a fong as it is generic. But the other thing too is just waiting for the shop to open up, getting ourselves a purple armor, especially not being able to take it off of that Shiloh's hands, will be what his next play is. Otherwise, full of cleansing. CY versus Frostivus. Nice pair from Frostivus. No F skill. We know this is going to be a COD combo, but otherwise, XY is looking a little bit of a menace in the background, looking for the yoink potentially for the RMBs. Gets it. Elimination, no parry. Frostivus loses out in the Soulbloom as well. Having the ultimate to be picked up here, XY could start this fight against his Akos with no sort of circumstance under his brow. Whether or not he wants to actually go for a TOD is up to XY, but it's only after Fox's ultimate.
Yep, Frostivus in a little bit of trouble here. Good clink. Maybe tries to answer back. XY, though, very good in these duel situations. And once again, maybe trying to get above Frostivus, who in kind actually gets a really good move through Bush to take XY down to a sliver. And there comes the fire back. I love to see it. BBE as a team finally getting some respite.
Yo, Dooney said 8 kills. I'm crossing my fingers. Got to see GG Shaw, though, has himself with the blue dual blades, looking to charge up the R&B while Fong is scared rushing in and out, having the R&B charge up, looking to try to go for the blue focuses. If he can get the catch, that's more important at this point in time. He has 96% on the rage bar. So for Fong, it's only a matter of time if he really wants to invest towards getting the soul bloom, especially since it does give 30% back over the course of time. For GG Shaw, finding time for respite, having literally heals here and there, really going to be a problem if he can get his chance for that Forbidden Seal to be proc. Because now, even if he gets his ultimate, it's not going to be possible with his seal denying these ult charges to go through. I mean, the ult charge is going to go through, but the ultimates can't be used.
Sean, a little bit of trouble, sprawled throughout the building. Fong going to try to follow through. Here comes Spider to land a killing blow. Freeze going to be activated here. Fong, I think, going to get killing blow, or at least try to go for it. Shaw, with solid movement, will be able to scale rush back to no man's land. But that being said, Chu Zhang is not going to be the one on top of him. This is a scary thing to try to invest on for Chu Zhang. It looks like they're still going to try to go for it. Here comes Kai Bao out of nowhere, actually landing the shot that will end this fight. Everybody's scattering for the time being, just looking to restabilize.
This is going to be Kai Bao spacing through with a shot. Might be looking for a purple weapon to be purchased if he can. It's going to be randomized, but at the end of the day, it's still a purple weapon. Gets a Moonbane instead. I like the priority. He's going to cast that Moonbane, get it towards a Rumble Yang, confirm it for himself. I'm not sure if he has a purple weapon on standby as a secondary, but he's looking over the body that we saw from earlier. If he can come through for it, he can make sure he can get the supplies needed. Otherwise, only Zai in the game, yo. He's going to have to take Rumble Yang because Zai performs really well in the Rumble Yang. The only deterrence is how well is he going to be faring against Syra? That's going to be the question. Syra will not care if she's in F state. Even if she's invulnerable, she can still get caught by the dazzle, and that's going to be all over at that point.
Yep. I really do think that this Zai has the ability to do some crazy things, but they have to play incredibly smartly. You have to be very aware of anybody trying to come in, interfere with you in Chainblade form. And in kind, you'll also just have to be willing to invest a lot to try to get kills when you're in that situation. People will wait you out. People will oftentimes trade off aggro. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye out for them to just get to a material advantage to where they don't have to worry as much about, say, burning everything in one go and then being knocked out. Currently, looking at Spider, just playing for space for the time being, followed through onto Fong, both of them just dueling for control of the Realm of Yang path.
This is gonna be Spider's dominant, area. And Fong, don't do it, bro. Don't do it, because he's got a Hong sword. He could TOD you all of a sudden, and you're gonna be what just happened? Now Spider gets chased out. Fong does not want to let this one go. Like we said, he's bottom of the leaderboard. He knows he needs elimination, and ironically enough, Frostus is too. He's got one elimination, gets parried as a result. No, he parries Fong. Fong went for the drop down blue focus and gets caught out. Spider burns his combo breaker. Now things are a little bit more escalated. Less than 30 seconds before the Rummy Yang gets entered upon, and now Spider has a proc hold.
Yep. And this is an awkward situation. Spider being the first one to burn this means that he's in a tough situation. Still has the pass on him, and Frostivus and Fong are basically on a team right now, just looking to take down Spider, one of the top competitors here. Good move back. Spider actually able to buy a little bit of time to recover. Movement on the tree means that he's going to be able to deflect an approach from Frostivus. About half armor still available. Frostivus in a similar position, and now with the pistol available, it's a zoning call as Arano's going to crash in on this one. On the back end, Frostivus is just going to have to tuck his tail between his legs and run away. What that means is we will have Edward Kai Bao as one of our Realm of Yangs. Frostivus not going to be able to get into the other one. It's going to be Spider alone for the time being, as on the other side we have OA versus OUG.
Kind of curious, man. Kai Bao looking to drop through. He has no special DJs. All he has is a will in the way with these nunchucks. He catches an LB, burns a combo breaker, looks to the whole focus for the blue, has enough meter to block extreme this. In case if you guys don't know, that's holding the horizontal with the meter with it ready for a block against a blue focus, and then it's a mix-up at that point. For Edward, he's going for scare rushes. There's a horizontal, there's a block extreme as mentioned, goes for a hit on the clink, gets caught the uppercut, has another meter to go for another one, and now it's going to be a clink battle between the two.
Yep, Kaibao going to play out range. Pistol as the approach option. Here comes the tech chase. Good job on the nunchucks to find an entry point. Now, activating invisibility, looking for the ankle breaker. Here comes the chains as well. Edward in a lot of trouble. Gonna keep their health relatively high here just by buying a little bit of zoning space. Unfortunately, they have to play hide and seek the remainder of the time that Zai has the chains available. Edward going to lose all their armor for their efforts here. Good cross up with a solid movement from Milani. Able to get behind the pillar here. Zai with a good angle catch breaks this to a tiny sliver. We've seen reversals in the situation. Oh, wait, make it another. No, Edward caught out, and that's Kaibao walking away from the Realm of Yang victorious.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, bro. We got that. And he got a gold pole sword and another sky punch. Rest in peace. But we do have purple pistol to be picked up, a Vermilion, and our first victory as a Zai in the Remy. 100% win right now. Absolute cinema coming out from Kaibao and actually putting the Lonnie out of the way. For CDY, losing his Romyang, immediately heads towards the cave and just trying to pick up loot, but it looks like Spider is already on the vicinity check and just making sure who Spider won against FPX Star recently. But for CDY, he's between two targets who both are healthy as can be.
Yep, and unfortunately, CDY cannot say the same about himself now. Just going to get absolutely melted in an instant here. That being said, the fight's still continuing here. HM doesn't really want this smoke. It's just going to try to back off, wants to get around the corner so that Arano just cannot hit him from far off that cannon. Going to get a repair of his own before trying to enter back in the loot chute.
Man, I wonder if Kaibao wants the ult here, dude. I'm wondering because I'm like, if he gets everyone in the group, he can just catch a lot of straight shots. So this is a lot of flame cages here as well. You see Edwards avoiding it where Arano is staying right next to it. And the pistol shots are striking towards the poison shrimp, so no one has a real escape until they start refreshing. So for Edward, having Lonnie ultimate, has Justina ultimate to worry about, he's going to have a lot of foes on his back. Throws the ball, has full focus. He can look towards teleporting towards it, and he throws a mind game. Kaibao with the kick, and that's going to be Spider with the elimination.
Yep. Kaibao, though, getting melted here, just having to try to play the range game from afar. Does have the interest to fall back upon the form of the Vermilion Bird's-Mite, but in a situation where they just have to dash away from this one. Awkward calls overall. HM actually going to hop over XY, by the way, on the score line for the point at which we're at in game number 3. Spider looking to get out of here. Edward as well, just trying to give chase. That's Arano, still on rare armor, actually. Across the side, going to be encroached upon by Spider here. I believe that's combo breaker already used. Edward now looking for the dash attack in. Shaw, Bong given chains, and XY is there. This is the full running and rolling group as they try to make it towards the center of the map.
Exactly. And now Edward is fully healthy out, but still has a timer on his disposition. Now for him, he's going to have to really look and keep a line of sight. Arana, though, is taking full focus by Spider here with ultimate cast, having one shield block, throws it in his face. Might be using the time to escape, does not get the roof grab he was hoping for, the scare rush out. And now Arana might just look to try to kite throughout the Sigma mine as well as he can and offer himself for it. But for Arano, having no Ramayang depletion means it's just only a matter of time before they start losing interest. Otherwise, the lobby still hasn't done so. And Edward picking up this valiant challenger, getting a line of sight for every 15 seconds. He's going to be able to keep a close eye on towards his target, who may be fighting around the corner.
Yeah, this is a whole lot of people clustered up, and any single thing can set this powder keg off. It's going to be Star looking for an angle. Going around the far side wall. Frostivus, hey, all the way over there, still alive. Actually has a kill to his name. I want to see a little bit more out of this BBE member. I think that Fong has very much internalized, hey, get kills, make a mark, do something. Frostivus has played quite conservatively for a lot of these games, so this could be a chance to really answer back. Akos, of course, in a situation like this, really flourishes in 1v1s, but you catch some people unawares, and all of a sudden this character can be an absolute monster. That being said, speaking of monsters, it's Star on a prowl. Taking to the sky, looking for somebody here. HM, Edward, and company all trying to scale to the top of tower right here. And that vantage point could be enough for them to start to lay in good range shots. That's been the defining factor of this game so far. Scale rush down, Star. Looking for something. Big roar. Not enough to get anything, though, as Edward is just looking for scraps at the bottom of this tower.
I think one thing is this is great macro from all the players, knowing that at this point for this Romyang completionists and having to force fights, they put him in an awkward situation. You usually see this even in Hollow off the Plume Castle with the Achilles Crest, and you even see it in terms of in Fedoria with high building mobility, such as with the Imperium Temple, where there's a lot of room to kind of cover. And now for Star, popping ultimate, this is knowing the where he is going to be the one person that they need to focus on because he's going to die sooner or later because of that Romyang completion.
Yeah, HM in an awkward situation might actually get a little bit of space. Hook shots, though, unfortunately, going to continue to harry this player. Keep getting back to Edward, who's just on the ground here, will die to Ying depletion, unfortunately, as HM, I think, is also about to follow them into the Shadow Realm now. Just a sliver left and available on this JL player. Fong wants to get that killing blow. Longsword range shot, not going to be able to do it. Finally, there's the pickup, though. As Fong now has to deal with Frostivus. We get the bottom of the barrel bracket fight going on right now. I'm really happy to see it. And meanwhile, inside of Realm of Ying, we got XY versus Spider.
Now, this is Ripple Phantom Step on top of Rampage for Spider. No Honk Sword whatsoever. XY, though, resting for dominance with the Tuna shot. This is going to be where 1-2s come out. XY looks to hold check the R&B, gets content crouch LMB, burns with F for Spider for the combo breaker. Now, XY has his opportunity for blue focus spam, but he gets himself, loses all his armor due to the gold face plates. Uppercut's good. Wait a second. Can we get this R&B swap? Nice sheet swap. Heck, low. XY, though, looks to burn out his F1, and one ult within the next is going to be the counter option. Who is going to come out here on top?
Yep, Spider still having a ability to reset tempo. One more shot in, could have overinvested trying to go for the range cannon shot, and that's going to be XY crashing through guard, but here comes the freeze. Spider does not lose these, as now he is well set for the rest of this game number 3.
Beautiful dash just to mitigate that blast coming through. Picks up a Merciless Havoc and a Hexa Harmony Spear. No staff, no spear in his inventory right now. So it's his best interest. Probably look to purchase another round, another bush. Kai Bao is hiding it out. And also with gold armor with the gold pole sword. So he's really chilling this game out. Dude, it's crazy, but he is the Zai. So endgame circle is his dominance record. 1-2-3 0 coming up for DRG Fong with the Cyan Fang. He's up against Arano, who just took the win in the Realm of Ying.
Yep, Fong with good movement here, knows that he just cannot step to Arano for the time being, though, especially with the potential of third party coming through, so he is just going to buy space. I think this is the right call. Spider sees him, decides to go the other way, maybe looking for Arano himself. Fong now on the flank angle, going to just use this time to recharge and find a new angle in.
Now, Fong has himself to have ultimate just up in a couple of seconds, so it's going to be up to him just to burn time for rage per second. But over by Gamma Mine, ASE's XY losing that Romy Yang has to look to start to sightlines players around. Remember, he has Tuna, so his sustain won't be much of an issue. It's about how much damage he can take, and that really came into notion against Spider. Spider being able to catch one blue focus with the fist plates that already chunked off near half his HP. So it really comes to determine if he can eat up that same amount of damage before someone can come in to start disrupting. Arano, though, finds him, wants to start this chase down. Eliminations right now for Arano and his kit, so he's looking to try to chase down XY. He finds a nice headshot Sagger for XY, has to take the time to heal before Arano starts ambushing him within the zone.
Yeah, that being said, Arano's still going to try to get in on this one as XY landing that first shot. Arano with a good response here. I like the spear in a situation like this. Spear plus bow means they just have so much space control, and XY, unfortunately, just isn't able to get anything back so far. Halberd's come out, will be able to do a bit to bring to that legendary armor back to half. Arano actually now maybe set on the run. This fight taking a little bit longer than either of them I think expected. XY going to lose armor. Arano going to do the same here. XY trying to get on top. Arano going to answer back with the counter hit of their own. As both of these guys are just trying to recover stamina. XY in a situation where right now they have one shot to Pokeball. They will be able to get it. This could lead to a TOD. Thrown into the storm all the way down off the cliff. Arano immediately burns a hook shot to try to get back up. XY not expecting the quick reapproach. We'll try to get the ball again. Has one more chance to make sure Arano doesn't feel confident to get in, but XY unfortunately didn't get enough damage off of it. We'll be able to heal in a position like this. Unfortunately, Arano finds them out! And that is heartbreak for sure for that Liam.
That was a clean scare rush from Arano. It was actually kind of impeccable for him to Cyan Fang 1, 2, 3. And then at that point, shield throw, which gave him enough airtime for it. So for Arano, class act play right there. Now it's switching on over. Kai Bao putting himself in the spot. 2 eliminations. Zai Gaming, purple armor, gold pole sword. Scaling is astronomical right now, but the players know this is probably the only Zai in the game, so they're keeping eyes and ears out for it, especially Bada Shanghan's Alani, GG Shaw playing out the Syra, and especially the Syra. The Syra has, like I said, she's probably one of the biggest ops, layman terms, the biggest oppositions against Zai here, just because of the fact that even with Zai F1, she can catch her with the Dazzle Orb. And that Dazzle Orb can reach within the meter of 20 meters. So for her to throw it out there is going to be the play. We are switching over to a Spider, Gold Dagger, Dreadful Whale. Monstrosity build right now, especially with the Sap Jade just being picked up and an Assault Smolder.
Yeah, for as much as we're talking about things as warping as the Zai coming through, heck, we actually saw the likes of Frostivus get some kills and remain competitive for a little bit within this game. Fong is still alive. At the end of the day, all roads are leading back to Spider. Had a little bit of a hiccup there, game number 2, but now moving into the third one, we see just how consistent this player is. Yet again, top of the lobby on kills. The question is, can they convert that into another win?
Yeah, exactly. And especially getting another MVP would be a nice segue for him. And then seeing if it can just convert over the course of this match with the succession. It looks like Arano gets himself Hepa detached though. So this is a great J. Tuna, Saf, Sai, and Fang. Saw it earlier. Having a Soul Shatter and a Fire Target Lock. Having the purple fan on standby for the Soul Shatter though is really impeccable because that could set up a grapple bump after catching it. So for Arano, if he finds someone without a combo breaker, he could just chunk out the HP with a nice swap towards a weapon, give him a little bit of the mix up, and then just being able to just oppress them. Now, switching over, 6 players in the lobby total. Kai Bao just chilling his mind out, but I'm wondering if he's actually going to get caught by someone if they want to start instigating a fight against him. Like I said, a Zai can do a lot of work, but as long as the right target chooses her at the right time, it's going to be at the wrong moment for KV to make it through.
Yeah, KV basically wants this to come down to final circle. 8 minutes left on the clock, 6 players means that the map density isn't crazy. It's pretty easy to just kind of have your little kingdom run around in it. And other people don't want to instigate a chase. They do know the threat that late game Zai poses, but they don't want to be the one to just go on a wild goose chase versus Kai Bao to begin. And so I think this is a good situation here for the OUG representative. Basically ideal for Zai to try to actually get the win super late game as it currently stands, so they got to wait a little bit longer to do so.
Yeah, and into the game of mine, especially considering that this has a lot of close-cut ravines at the southern end of it, so if players find themselves that want to disengage, they can use the wall, switch over to a short-handed weapon like the fan, and start moving, start schmoving. Mystic Might is on the field for the Spirit Well right now, inside of the heart of Gamma Mine, and all the players are making a way to try to confirm for it. This really works out for rage-based ultimates, where or rage, you know, like an ultimate that consumes 100% of your rage. We've seen that with Liam's that come through before, where Liam could proc ultimate, or even a Knocko can be procking the ultimate and then catching it throughout. And that goes down to Kai Bao, that involves with the Syra, and it really comes down towards Arano as well, who is probably going to be the most skilled and wanting to confirm it. Spirit Well, though, is in the center of this platform. Very unfortunate, but very highlight reel worthy.
Yeah, we're going to see who's going to be able to actually remain literal king of the hill right now. Spider is going to try to make a claim up top. Frozen for the time being. Arano now going to hand off, trying to get the charge for as long as possible. Spider with control over to the side. Takes back to the air, looking for a drop onto somebody. This has worked several times, but this time around, I believe that is going to be Kai Bao just getting the slice and dice, forcing the Spider to walk on back for the first time in a while. Arano now trying to meet up top here. Looking for another drop. Kai Bao waiting in the wings of this one. Spider healed up, ready to hop back and play hot potato. This is dangerous territory. Anyone can get RB'd off of this and get knocked off for some succession hits. Spider goes for the stanchion, goes straight to the Merciless Havoc, getting Kai Bao with a lot of chonk damage, but blue staff means not a lot. So 600 HP down for the armor. That's a 1 armor powder heal. Kai Bao will definitely make sure in just getting that retention back in. Otherwise, Spirit Well is still getting contested out. We know Arano is looking to go right back into it. He knows the worthwhile value that this adds towards him, especially just because of the fact that he has so much mitigation and sustain with the Tuna and having gold armor. This is going to be going off where he can go right back into it. But for Kai Bao, he can just use his ultimate to space this in and then having everyone be separated on. But the strikes are coming through. The Spirit Well shield wall is down. Range shots are free to go through, and Kai Bao is getting almost lobbied in just a moment. Yeah, Kai Bao in a tough position there. Felt the pressure necessary to try to contest the Spirit Well. Just going to get melted, though, in kind. Spider on the chase down, and Spider actually is just able to play out of range, slowly wearing down Kai Bao's armor. Here comes the response. Ultimate going to be activated here, and unfortunately, Kai Bao won't even be able to land a single shot with it, as he will be lobbied. Unfortunate situation. Multiple players still left in this one to try to contest Spirit Well. Looks like Arano has been capitalizing on the fact that Spider's been away, trying to kill a Zai to their advantage, just trying to get control of this one. Fong up top, knowing that they can't stay here for very long. There's a material advantage over to Arano, Spider in particular. Chujengus gonna have to run back and look for the heal up with the Bane's Breath going on right now. This is a chaotic fight one way or the other. Spider trying to play King of the Hill. Arano actually in a risky position, gets the deflect in time, will be able to pop the Spirit Well. Here comes the yoink in. Arano sent tumbling, may not matter at the end of the day, as now they have a clear chase down target. Spider gonna be staggered in a lot of trouble here. Bane's Breath almost gonna fire off. Arano with a good sidestep will be able to stabilize. The Spider will freeze up. Combo Breaker being used. Shaw right on top of them as well. Spider trying to convert. Will lost himself to the other side of the circle. Arano gets frozen up. May not matter as the WZ representative takes it up top. Now looking to intercept anybody who wants to step their way. They have the clearest material advantage here. And I think that with how things are currently standing, Spider may not be long for this world.
Exactly. Saying that Mystic Might is working, the pings are consistent, and he's able to find a line of sight onto him. But we see that GG Shaw finds a drop down blue focus. Doesn't matter. Arano still takes a chase. Now his supply gain, a little bit worried. So 4-6 ratio right now from Healing Berries to Armor Powder. Not having a lot towards the end game circle, but like I said, he has that Sphere to go back to for some resupplies. Now for Arano here, looking to chase the target off of another Justina. Not knowing whether it's the same Justina that we saw prior, which was Spider, but Spider did have a gold armor, so he's going to be able to distinguish the two now. For Arano, having the silence for a fan using target and another dagger using target with a gold spear, for him, if he gets a single R&B blue focus, this is a lot of damage that comes out. Now Arano is on the cave side of the game of mine. Look at the Scare Rush here, having just having the immense pressure of a Shio with 30% mitigation and for 100 seconds longer. That's just going to be where the lobby has to make it known. And Arano has an option here. He could drop an armor on reserve and go right back towards this the Spirit Well to drop his to pick up the other gold armor and just to have it on standby. But any other opponent could go ahead and pick up the armor as it is on the floor for grabs.
Heads up play by Shaw, just immediately going to start running a bit earlier than expected. Fong, though, happy to try to take down the purple armor player out of the lobby and get another kill on the board. Arano, though, has found both of them out. Shaw going to have the Desperation Ultimate here. Good job maneuvering with an initial Siren Dash to try to get out of these choke points here. Actually going to find multiple people with a laser beam. Spheres being utilized, just trying to keep Shaw sustained for the time being. GG knows that as soon as he drops out of this one, he is going to be a sitting duck. So as much height as he can gain, the better. Will get up here, but at half health with one swipe across, Spider is looking for the killing blow. Hook shot, that's going to be enough. Spider with another kill. As Fong now at half health with no armor available, may be the last of those people at the bottom half of the lobby alive in this one.
This is going to be Fong getting caught by the R&B, burning his combo breaker, not having ultimate ready to go. But he finds his
good
dagger.
Scale Rush.
Scale Rush coming from Spider was clean right behind him, and now it's top 2 on the leaderboard. Spider was 7 eliminations, and with Arano with 1, a Shio versus Justina, and it looks like Justina hasn't even come out yet. Arano is up to grabs right now, getting caught for the shield block. Spider will take the damage, takes an R&B, holds blue. Arano wants to make sure that Justina decides upon using blue focuses, or using the dash through a blue focus. Shield throw was missed. Arano looking to switch on over here, might be looking for a Scare Rush, gets avoided, gets double blue focus, but a shield throw is good. Spider gets caught, no R&B, has no more dashes, has to cancel it in order to obtain the combo breaker. Otherwise, he can go for high risk, high reward with the damage spike that comes out from this ultimate. Spider will commit towards the offensive pressure, one element to the R&B, and now combo breaker is used. Arano has this nearly to victory, almost to the case, if Spider can keep cutting out as well as he is.
Yep, Spider trying the best that they can to answer back here, but there's the stagger canceling out of the way of the Scale Rush, and that is a clean one for Arano to walk away with the dub. Knocking out Spider at the end there too, a testament to the fact that this is not all over. We got many games, we got many twists and turns still ahead of us.
Exactly, and Spider, since 7 to kill eliminations, had the game point advantage, has MVP even in second place, while Arano takes first place placement with the points to be accrued. And then having Spider earn himself the MVP for another
kind of clustered but relatively low density drops end up shaping up. Because, for instance, if Kai Bao here is able to get a solid shot off and buy the space to really loot on up, they can just put CDY off tempo. Although in Kai, CDY has gotten the rare armor, could look to fire first. Instead, both of them just kind of handshake the loot.
Yeah, it makes sense considering they want to see what they can pick up before they fully engage and seeing what could be left on the vicinity. Usually for armor swaps here or there, if they're available for common, we've seen that before from Edward back in round 2 earlier today. A blue armor for Kai Bao, though, is free. CDY in the outskirts with his long sword, fist blades on Kai Bao. Now switching to Spider and Fong. We said this is over by the ancient stock. They're hitting the trees once over and try to get into the loot room here, as well as looking for the pressure. Spider will make it known. A lot of troves, a lot of armors on standby. This is going to be a fight where the Lonnie also has, look at her ultimate bar, 75%. She was able to find the Firefly first and might create the possibility for death.
Yeah, really good parry. Spider actually in a desperate scramble situation to start this off early. Immediately has to burn the combo breaker. Fong gonna try to give chase for the time being. Has the advantage. Scale rush from Spider gonna be caught out at the very end of its animation, and that means that it's gonna be Fong right back on the chase down. Spider knows that he has to try to get out of dodge in this situation. Might just have to sacrifice first life. Good movement up the cliffside face. Fong wants to give chase. Maybe just to make a statement above anything else. Like I said, Fong in a position where he just needs to get as many kills as possible. May open up well and early. Spider actually in trouble. Caught out by Orb. Trying to buy a little bit of space. Good dash, good movement. Still going to be tracked for the time being by this Lonnie. Spider up top. Looking at scale rush. Will be able to pull away more distance. Is Fong just going to be left in the dust?
I think so. I mean, the thing is, he found an armor swap, but he hasn't able to get his last orb. This gives Fong a lot of trouble because Kylan ult is ready to go. Fong finds a nice horizontal, chips off the armor, peels off the pressure, looks for the disengagement. Like I said, like I mentioned, right? How soon can he disengage, and what value can he come off with it? Now, if he forces a fight inside of the woodworks, what's going to happen is that slashes from Kylan can come out. Nice grapple cancel though to disengage forward past the F1. But for Fong, another chance for this Kylan ultimate. It might come through into his death sentence.
Yeah, Fong, yet again, over-investing on a fight. Spider finds the rebound, finds the armor swap. Looks like he's also going to find this first kill. Fong, one more move back. Has the chance to try to even up the health here. Unfortunately, there's the bobble, there's the juggle. Fong getting a little bit of armor. Unfortunately, no breathing room is going to be provided here. Spider coming in, trying to find the killing blow. Misses the slash on the dash, though. Fong able to get back into the treasure room. Gonna go for another loop around. Spider giving chase once again. There's contact. Fong on a one-hit scenario here. Spider, though, very worryingly low as well. Class Fong killed. Spider locks in and wins that after a good 3 minutes of fighting.
That was an impeccable read for the parry there. That gives Spider his first elimination. Parry coming out from CDY against Kai Bao. Nice option for the RMBs. Looks towards the F1 usage. Kai Bao will start going towards one of these second floor units to try to see if he can find an armor swap. I remember that common armor swap we saw earlier that he swapped from a blue. That might be his directions, but looks like CDY will deny that, and that's elimination number 1. That gives CDY his first kill in this game. 2 eliminations so far for FPX's star in this game, as we were able to see him spawn in Arcadia. I'm curious to see if he's successful with the Volpine's essence, more importantly. HM, though, purple staff, having Liam ultimate almost ready on the dollar, has almost the option to just go ahead and chase on XY. I mean, XY has common armor and blue nunnies. Shy ultimate might create a shift in terms of this push. Nice headshot. Fire a target lock from XY. Very well done.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to fight with that sticking out of your forehead. HM, therefore, going to go on the run. XY wants to follow through. Good job on the deflection. HM, though, in a scary situation, has to pop the ultimate. I don't know if he's going to get enough value off of this. Will be able to Pokeball XY into a stun, and that could be enough. Finishing him off. HM, I cannot believe it had the wherewithal to read the health, finding the TOD.
It was crazy that he had the read knowing the plaque was there, but all Liams do nowadays, and it's kind of scary. But for him to make his way towards that plaque just in time, is able to throw it, catch the 5-second stun. It was over for XY, and that actually eliminates XY from the lobby completely for this round. Now for Spider, off of the west side of the towards Imperium, he's going to be making his way towards the Lion's Gate, and the north side for the motion that he knows players may be coming in from Arcadia. Star is over by Skygaze Cove, making his loot pattern here, 12,000, has that Volpine's Essence, as I suspected, has Soul Shatter as well as a Jade. So Soul Shatter with a Volpines, has a blue fan. He's able to loot this up. He might be able to find himself a purple armor before even needing to purchase one and then go into the Realm Yang. But Arano, he's on the vicinity to check. He is right close behind, and so is Kai Bao from Team OUG.
Yep, we got the running and rolling kind of fight maybe starting up here. Kai Bao and company right up against the encroaching storm for the time being. Kai Bao just going to buy a little bit of space here. This is all very, very fraught. Moving into center stage, what we can just see here are sequential collapses, long chases because of how open some of these courtyards are, and from there, multiple people just getting wrapped up in a big fight. Now, I don't think anybody wants to engage too hard. We got the Realm Yangs, of course, spawning up relatively soon here. Looks like Spider and Fong have kind of been following each other. Once again, are back to playing a little bit of a spacing duel around a newly spawning up Realm Yang. Fong's got to be incredibly careful in this scenario. Spider's already got the best of him in one duel. The question is, will it happen again?
Yeah, it's going to be careful enough for chip damage. Another third person shows up. Arano here in the mix, just going ahead for pistol shots. You can see how much Spider's HP has gone down to a third of his health bar for the blue rarity armor. Now for Spider, dangerous game right now. Kylan's slashes here for the next 40 seconds are going to be very undermined before everyone can catch afterwards. Hit him with a blue pistol shot right there. There it is. Every single slash gives her free reign for a range shot, and that's what Arano's hoping in for. Blue focus to charge up. Liam ultimate on standby. Remember the cycling I mentioned about against Liam's? This is now the case against Kylan. For Spider, having the common armor was a nice safety net, but anyone can come in here as well and just look to try to congress against him, considering that whether or not they know his ultimate is down, there's a reason he's on common and he started running away.
There's Arano as one of them. Fong gonna try to get up top here, wanting that revenge. Spider gonna play keep away off the dual blades. Good deflection there. Now it's Fong having to heal back up. Spider able to divide and try to conquer this field. Unfortunately, just in such a fraud position. Gonna actually go for the armor swap. Spider gets in. Will be facing off against CDY. Down to a little bit of material though in regards to that armor. Can these epic dual blades bring him to victory?
We'll have to see, because this is going to be where CDY comes through with these halberds with a long sword. Ooh, I already sense a sheath combo coming in. CDY looking for a bow shot, looking to try to connect it. Looks again for a clink, making sure he can go for an R&B if he can. There's one, backs off, goes right back in, takes a full blue focus to the face, but there's a combo breaker now. CDY did not want to chip out and lose all that stagger. Anticipated for the blue focus to come out for the combo breaker, but a little bit late, but CDY goes for ultimate now. Uppercut's good, might be a connection. There it is. Knockback from the Kylan ult, going to force shield proc, second shield proc, connects it, can't get any staggers for this extension. Here's a third shield proc, gets an immediate throw. Spider still hasn't lost his killing guard.
Yeah, that makes sense. Spider needs to make a move right here, right now. Currently down a little bit of health. CDY going to be sent spiraling across to the other side of the column. Caught in the air. That should be enough. One more touch. I don't know how Spider keeps doing it.
I don't know, man. This man is goated beyond extension. And now Frostivus up against Edward. This is a dangerous position for Edward because he's on Sun form for the Stone form. And now it comes down towards an Akos versus a Syra. I'm not sure when Edward's going to be proccing ult, but if it happens, it's going to force Frostivus in a bad position, especially at how late it might end up post ultimate ending.
Yeah, Edward just trying to play the stall tactic right now. Unfortunately, I don't think that they're in a position where they're going to be able to stabilize. And now it's Edward, middle of ultimate, just getting torn asunder by the Sakos. Just going to have to try to use these orbs to heal as much as possible. And Frostivus knows the timing, gets right back in there for another knockdown. Time for OA to try to stabilize is over. Frostivus definitely up, has that extra armor available. That means that Edward will get the time to try to heal across the sidewall. Frostivus now in trouble, gonna get knocked down by the pole arm, tries to find the counter hit, will be able to get a little bit of damage now, clinks into knockdown. Edward in trouble, needs to try to find a new approach path. Frostivus currently still in the lead on this exchange. Unfortunately, they don't have quite as much available in terms of ability, but it might not matter. Edward gets one shot down to a sliver. It's a one-touch scenario. Frostivus gets the uppercut with RMB, and that will be enough for BBE's representative to walk away victorious in Realm of Gang.
Golden Onions picked up. Fire was target lock. I wanna, give props to Edward actually scare rushing back to his orb, giving him a little bit of heal, knowing a lot of chip damage goes a long way for him to start kiting. But Frostivus made the read, made the uppercut attempt, secured the win. It's gonna be his third elimination. Dooney is going crazy in chat right now. I know that Frostivus has himself with 3 eliminations. He's up to the near towards Vermilion's Bird's Might. He could just make his approach towards going north, going east, however which way the case is. Edward still has to get himself out of Lux shadow, because with him and GG Shaw, they're both Cyrus in the game right now, and they have to make sure that when the time comes, one's gonna have to strike the other. Shisheng though has the Justina in play for the F2. Now it's up against him and Spider, and now the ultimate from the Justina will force a disengagement for Shisheng towards the Hall of Eternity.
Shisheng needs to get out of here quite quickly. Doing a good job having enough hook shots in order to really buy space. Now, as they are around this vantage point corner, I think that Spider and Star may decide to just peel off. Shisheng in a position right now where I think that they can begin to recharge. Frostivus, though, just go, wants to continue to keep this advantage, and I can understand why. Looking for something versus HM. Good jump forward. Frostivus in a happy position here, about to pick up his F once again. HM, meanwhile, just going to go on the run. Realizes that he's a sitting duck in this situation, disarmed with not much available. Trying to answer back. Will be able to send Frostivus sprawling. Frostivus with the launch up top, though, has the ability to try to get right back on top of this representative JL. Diving in with the halberds. Good clinks on either side. HM trying to stabilize. Clinks once again mid-air, but unfortunately they will wilt under the flurry of blows, and now Frostivus needs to try to hand off into another fight. Meanwhile, we have CDY, Shot, and Edward dueling here as we see our come in trying to find a third or fourth party. As this happens, we are going to get Shaw diving in. Edward trading off for the time being, needs to try to find an armor recovery. Will be given the opportunity.
Will be doing so, and with it having a reset, not finding that soul bloom was kind of an undermined situation. GG Shaw was able to accrue towards it. Fong, though, gets a kill against Frostbus in the background. That's for millions, by the way. Having to come back, cycling towards a Romy Yang that's probably in the outskirts and can safely have that position. Now, switching over to Fong, the Spider, he was there in the vicinity the whole time. He's going to be looking to try to hunt him down here with no Kylan ultimate, no Vermilions active. So whether he wants to take a fight against Alani with no combo breaker, if the situation prevails, that would give Fong the elimination. Meanwhile, Edward's still looking to get rid of this Romaine depletion, has 100 seconds, has a chance of staggering out Arano here towards a Romaine gate. RMB armor swap comes out. We're looking for a Scourge here for Edward. Gets staggered, nicely done, but one jump LMB gets dodged, and that's a little bit of hit damage here. It's going to be coming out from Shaw, looking for the RMBs and going for the staggers. Obviously, Edward has a little bit of time to see in chasing down this Liam, but once the ultimates come out, it's going to be a death's door situation.
Yeah, Arano, though, doing a good job answering back. Edward actually going to lose all the armor for this exchange. Shaw may try to look up here to get a favorable fight. Edward going to have to ult in this situation. Arano enters through the window frame, immediately gets their health bar melted. Could just get lasered to death here. And there we go. Arano eliminated from the lobby as now Edward is sent on the run after dropping out of ult.
Yep, and now GG Shaw can loot the body as much as the gear that's labeled down on the ground. For Edward, though, he still has Romy Yang to still think about, considering that if he goes back towards his purple armor, he could reset it. It's under the awning, and then that gets him right back in there for a full reset. For Star, though, 2 seconds on the clock. Romy Yang passes under his. Doesn't really need to take it as soon as he does, but he does have that V1 active, so that way he can go for slashes. Now it's up to him about entering towards it, and now it's his entry in his fight with no one yet. But we do see between Fong and Spider taking the reins. Gold Dagger on Spider, Fong with a blue fan, a classic. And for Spider on the Kylan with a V2, let's take a look at the scene how his fight in this Romy Yang begins.
Yep, Spider just trying to continue to drive forward that advantage that has brought him to so many MVPs, so many victories, and so many points so far. Now on this Kylan, he is looking to just go back-to-back in the realm of Yang. Fong at range, unfortunately, withering under these pistol shots. Spider now trying to go for the follow-through. Good cross-up. Fong in trouble. Hook shot, stagger into another pistol shot. Gonna wear through the rest of Fong's armor. Fong trying to answer back with fan. Go on the tech chase. Spider happy to jump back, take to the air. Good job on the sprawl once again. Fong just getting melted in this 1v1 as DRG's member has one more chance to activate ultimate and try to bring it back here. Fan gonna go wide. Spider happy to just wait this out for the time being. As Fong continues to fall within line of sight. Going from post to post. Spider getting in. There's the Kylan dash. Making another one. Hard reset. And less than half health for Fong left available. Can they turn it around?
This is going to be that goalie stance that makes or breaks a fight, and Fong gets his third ball to be thrown out here. Gets caught to horizontal free soul break. F1 just in time. Cancellation the ultimate, but it wasn't enough. The chip damage is too strong with the gold dagger. Spider, cool, composed, picking up the Romy Yang, gold armor, gold pulse sword, phoenix blast, Hong sword, a cab bloom. We're talking major gameplay changing jades and weapons in this end game circle for him to go through with the White Tiger's prowess. And for Spider, this is his third elimination out on the outskirts of towards south side of Heaven's Gate. He now goes straight to the Hall of Eternity and seeing what is up. But DRG Fong, he's up against Star here. If they want to start this fight right now, now's the case because Fong's on death's door in the next 5 minutes.
So here's what I'm going to say at this point. Well, after we see whether or not Fong will be able to get this depletion off of him, Star in quite an awkward position here, already losing a lot of that armor. Fong going in, going to actually cancel that hook shot, buying a little bit of space. Now, in between the Claymen, Fong will be able to get a solid shot at the Spider, realizing it is Spider, actually decides, I'm going to go up top. I am just going to let Spider have another kill if he wants it.
Spider's like, yeah, no problem, man. I'll take that. Star here, 5 eliminations. The other Kylan in the lobby, it's like we're looking at two sides of the coin, V1, V2, you know, and Star having lost his Romy Yang, I really want to see the replay on that one because it was up against Frostbus in that Romy Yang. So specifically against an Akos, that's really something you don't necessarily see, but then it's the V1 variation, so that's just something about it. Frostbus with gold fist blades as a result of the win is going to be carrying that throughout. He's going straight towards a position where he sees 2 players lurking around here, and it's going to be Star up against DRG Fong. Hopefully to see it by him getting some chip damage here and there and just looking for some snags, but then Spider Spider shows up with a pole sword and looks to strike on past.
I'm really liking the Frostivus approach of stand on the wall, try to just scale rush 3 times in a row, deciding, and never mind. Fong in a lot of trouble now. Sent sprawling, gonna have to just try to buy space. Unfortunately, here comes the chase down. We'll go into Storm, recover a little bit of health, but this might be too little too late. Spider's there. Spider just wants to wipe Fong for a 3rd time in this game.
This is Dak. You know, this is kind of sketchy because I'm not even sure if whether or not Star is able to kind of come through here securing the Soul Bloom because, like I said, Fong is in here, but he also had one more ult proc, and that gave Star a little bit of trouble. The R&B misses. Spider comes in for the slashes. Fong looks to try to disengage again and again with the fan and going ahead and using the rocks, using the walls, while Star is on 1 HP in a dream. As he comes out of the zone, he gets caught by blue focus. Unfortunate. Fong gets out of soul depletion, but there's another target. There was 2 targets. Frostivus and Spider are both on top of him, making sure he doesn't get a full reset. And if they do, oh man, one's gonna come after the other.
I mean, credit to Fong for staying alive for as long as possible. Once again, in order to get out of Storm, they find themselves right on top of Spider one more time. Spider gonna hookshot across the wall. Fong doing a good job just playing off the rock and cliff face in order to try to buy a little bit of distance. Good clink once again in a position where they are up top. Unfortunately, Spider's found the angle now on dual blades. The 3rd person has made their way up the cliff as well. Fong decided to use this as an opportunity to drop down, hopefully find a hiding spot, just recover a bit of health and armor.
Now, obviously, we're towards this Horse Service Bureau. This is going to be something closing off. We're going to get into a lot of cliff sides, a lot of wooded areas, not wooded areas, but a lot of areas that can be, used for trees, used for pillars, a lot of towers pretty much over by Ascension. And now for Spider here, he's going to be the sacked out player in this game. Fong getting caught right here for a scare rush, looking at LMD to uppercut would be huge. Spider goes for 1, 2, 3. It's confirmed because of the chance of during manipulation. And looking for a parry there, doesn't get it. Looking for another scare rush for Spider was an attempt, but luckily he wasn't punished for it. So that gives him time to go for 1 heal where Fong needs 2. A lot of seconds to be earned out. Spider actually looking for an uppercut there, and now forcing Fong. Gets himself a nice chance for an uppercut, but I'm pretty sure the lobby is just waiting this fight out and seeing who's going to be exiting the premises.
Yeah, it's kind of just a matter of playing patiently at this point, and those who can't afford to do so are the ones who are going to find themselves in rough positions. It's a story as old as time, or at least as old as Naraka Bladepoint. Fong able to get up top, surprisingly resilient, and credit where credit's due. He's done a good job of holding on, trying his best to stabilize here. Unfortunately, he still finds himself at the bottom of the standings, but right now in this game, this is his best shot in forging forward he's had in a while.
Yeah, and for Kai Bao, chilling. Purple fan. What's crazy too is that if he gets anyone off of a combo breaker, knowing that they are out, he could just TOD them with the fan. At least try to go for the R&B extensions. Who he decides to go after really comes down towards it. But if he decides to go against a fellow Lonnie, that just makes things a little bit more opportunistic. Now, 61,000 Dark Tide coins gives Fong full value to buy that gold armor that's at 40,000 Dark Tide coins and then some supplies. But he's running low on vitalities. I'm looking at it right now. My man has 0 at this point. How much? Wait, does he have baby? He has 1 baby power, and that's it. That's all he's got. Baby vitality or nothing, and that's all he's got going to his endgame circle. He can't go back in there because the other target's looking at him. Edward, though, Shaw, south of the Moonbane. White Tiger's prowess is currently going to be up for grabs here once the Moonbane ends. This is right in the center, and this area is going to be contended between a Syra, 2 Syras, and 2 Lonnies. And whether or not we can find out if whether or not Spider can come through and try to contest it himself, because a Kylan really digs that Spirit Well, especially.
Absolutely. Yep. Kind of forgot Frostivus is still in this, somewhere all the way up on the far side edge, just looking to wait this one out until the very end.
Oh, there it is. Merciless Havoc reveal coming up from Cosmos. Gold staff coming out here. Gold armor. He's set to go here to try to hide out for gold focus strikes to knock back somebody. But using the tree just to come through. Nice parry off of that hit. Forcing the combo breaker from the Sire, but he takes a full blue focus. He loses nearly 900 armor because of that play, which forces him to go for a heal, which I believe he has advanced heal. So that's a really great setup for Frostivus. I think he's at the healthiest he's been so far today. And getting out to the Akos, finding another Merciless Havoc, and burning another skill coming out.
Yep, currently Frostivus in a good position to just try to take away the Spirit Well. Eventually going to be repelled here. Fong now wants an opportunity. Unfortunately going to be met with Edward, who's going to go on a pretty proactive Sire ult here. Maybe a little bit too early in this one. We're going to see whether or not anybody actually wants to step up to try to knock Edward off the high horse for the time being. Laser Beam about to expire, and here it comes. Edward actually timing it perfectly to be able to get themselves the Spirit Well. Getting out like a bandit.
Yeah, definitely gonna be banned. You know, it's crazy. Edward just found himself a Cloud Weaver within the mix here. So this is gonna be one of those highlight Jades right there. There it is, forcing a lot of potential for Fang to burn his Combo Breaker. Not only to that, but the lobby to just be worried about this. For Edward, for him having a Cloud Weaver, this also forces other players to look towards after the knockback to try to capitalize onto it. Because after that knockback, they can just look to try to range shot. They can catch a blue focus. It's free real estate right now. There it is, a prime example.
Oh my! Yeah, double catch out, Fang in a lot of trouble, having to ult proactively into this one. Edward knows this is the time to pull the trigger and clean this lobby up as much as they possibly can. Fang trying to rush up top in a scary position, having to deal with Bane's Breath on top of the fact that they have Edward breathing down their neck. Has lasted for a long time in this position, but this could be end of the road. Good job with the Lonnie ultimate to actually disrupt Edward's forward advance. Fang launching himself up top, going to be caught out with Sha, and unfortunately with Fang only on rare armor, they're going to be a clear and present bait for other people to get in on. Sha going to get the first entry point. Fang going to lose all armor now, rushing over to the side, hiding in the corner right by the storm to try to get as much of a heal off as they possibly can. Sha, though, just gonna hand off that aggro with Edward. I think this is the end of the road for DRG.
Yeah, man, they're looking to try to be a blue focus spam out here, and it might be seared on both sides. For Fang, it's careful consideration, considering he knows how strong his Moonmaker can work in his favor or against him. Otherwise, he finds a wall. He looks to try to scare rush past. He can't get it. All the staggers are coming out, and a Sire ultimate active from Edward to try to go for this kill confirmation. He has the whole cliff side to his advantage, just to corner off Fang. Wherever direction he goes, he's going to have to decide to go in one way, and that's west. But for GG Shaw, he's on grounding to duty too. He's looking to try to catch him. He gets caught into the dazzle, but Fang might be eliminated from the party, and it's Frostbus with the musket yoink of the century.
Yep. That being said, Edward is in a position right now where he's happy to reset. He still has a little bit of time on White Tiger's prowess. That means that he could probably get up to another ult charge. And we have 4 minutes still left on Final Circle. And so this is really where he can play a bit patiently. Hopefully Frostivus or Spider or Sha gets caught out. And from there, he has a decent shot at just taking this one all the way home. Frostivus, still playing relatively passive, has gotten out to 6 kills with that last kill yoink, as you talked about, SV. But otherwise, has been letting other people do the dirty work. This is in the past benefited him. He had won on a lobby in a previous game by virtue of just playing this way. But now that he's up at 6 with such a material advantage, I would like to see him actually be the initiator in this position.
Yeah, Naraka, the thing that comes out is the fact that he also has such great spacing Jades here. One of the things with Merciless Havoc is that once it reaches gold focus state, you can't really stop it unless you use a skill to break off from it. So for him to do the tech of just moving one direction to the next, where he can 180 the Merciless Havoc, that forces someone to just look at that target and then they can just start pelting it. And he's more healthy than he can be. Like right now, he can hold this corner off and he can burn stamina or he can catch somebody. In other words, that gives Edward, that gives Spider full range processing capabilities. Kai Bao, for instance, look at him. He has no armor. Now the lobby can turn on him. I just realized Kai Bao was on V1 this whole entire time, and I didn't even get a chance to see it at all throughout today in terms of this round. So for Kai Bao burning his V1 like that, the lobby knows he has no ult. This is a lock-in position.
Spider just trying to find a vantage point. We've seen him time and time again go to the air, try to get the drop on somebody, and then zoom back out. He always hit Edward with a similar strategy in that situation. Now charging up a scale rush, looking for somebody. Kai Bao in particular, a little bit vulnerable in this position. Edward trying to get on top of them. Kai Bao buying space. Fortunately, given how many ranged weapons are still available, this could be end of the road. We'll be able to heal up. Frostivus, though, fighting them with the staff, knocking them all the way into the storm. Both them and Sha have to go running. Kai Bao in a lot of trouble right now. No armor available. Just trying to hand it off, so maybe Sha gets focused down, but they still have the Sire ult available. And while the factor gets popped here and now means that Sha probably is not long for this world, Kai Bao is, of course, going to be the one that falls down first.
Yeah, and for GG Shaw, there was a wild wind spell of destiny right there. Could have gotten parried and gotten punished almost immediately. He gets caught into the grapple stagger into the zone, hoping to see that Merciless Havoc come out and might capture him, but GG Shaw does not. He has a height advantage, so he avoids Frost's mercy. But for Edward right now, top 4 in the lobby, this is the final circle that gives us the next 2 minutes of action. Pitter Patter comes out, Spider with a scare rush, knocks back, and forces a shot against Frostbus in the dark. For Frostbus, he finds a nice parry against Edward, an RB from Spider to connect. So now it's become between these players to make sure the Sire doesn't have availability. But then again, it's really a process of elimination. Someone who's lower health, someone that could be chipped down. Spider is one target here that would be processed to be caught out, but if he gets kill and guard later on, he can't be killed for 4 seconds. The lobby has to make this decision right now.
Yep, Frostivus is just looking to play the range game versus Edward. The staff doing so much to benefit Frostivus in this situation. Spider, meanwhile, is just happy to actually play this as slow as Frostivus actually often does. Edward is up top on a vantage point right now, hoping that Spider and Frostivus meet against one another. Spider, I think, didn't want to engage, but Frostivus has other ideas, decides to go for the fight. Spider now at only 2 pips left on the gold armor right now. Frostivus in trouble, though, on the cross-up. Spider happy to try to force back now in a good position to get an ultimate out of Frostivus, who sent sprawling. Edward up top, though, happy to see this one. Spider now taken to the air. As soon as they see both of them rise up, Frostivus knocked out, and now Spider has a chance to just knock out Edward and take yet another lobby in the 1v1. Edward on fist trying to get over and force Spider into the storm. Unfortunately, it's Edward sent sprawling. Syra ultimate forced up before the circle fully closes. Spider just has to try to find coverage. If he can do that, this lobby is his. Up into the air, trading back and forth. Edward with barely any health left available for him. Spider guiding backwards, has the pole arm available to try to work as a zoning tool. Edward, a one-touch scenario. Edward on 1 HP.
Absolutely monstrous parry and catching at the last hit confirmation. I know Spider is upset about not taking the multiplier. He still takes MVP, but man, that was a massive parry coming from Edward. A wild haymaker blue from Spider punishes him and eats it up. This is going to be given for the win. But in our hearts, I know Edward is looking towards that parry back on the replay. That's very alongside with Naraka. We're getting into the violence off rip for Spider and OEG's Kai Bao in the vicinity shot threshold with a Zai in a solo lobby you never thought you'd see.
Yeah, Kai Bao unfortunately didn't come away with the advantage the first time that he entered into an early hot drop, and it doesn't look like Kai Bao is going to be getting the opportunity to win this one either. Down to a very worryingly life total. Does manage to use the Halberd Flurry in order to get Spider past the armor. Unfortunately, sets up for a block a bit too early. That Spider coming away with the first kill.
Yeah, it was a hefty scare rush position, but then again, the whole tech comes up from Spider successfully. Always Edward, though, chases down Tishang. Go purple nunnies off rip. 1 RB, all your armor is gone. He's got ultimate, though, so for Edward, this could be a position right now. The combo breaker is utilized. Now, Tishang had 1 firefighter to potentially pick up, wasn't able to do so, so he's just turning himself out here. There's no armor swap there. Tishang could get crouch LMB for the chip damage, and now the jump RB attempt was massive for the melee emissary from Edward. He's doing it again.
Good pilling.
Drops down into the LMB. Big ups for Edward. This is salvation podium potentially, but Arano's on Ballista. Can we see a gamer shot coming from this Ballista, please?
Yeah, knows that Edward is there. Arano happy to play this patiently. Boom. Oh, Edward. Now in a position where he wants to finish puzzle, knows he doesn't have the health with which to do so, though. Good job by Arano, now actually kind of laying claim to center of the map.
Yeah, and this is going to be where Edward could also just stay down there and start looting. Pinnacle Town is a mess. It's a frolicking mess. We got DRG Fong. Purple weapon off rip Justina, and it's a purple Hong sword. This is really going to be making him having the damage spike that he's needing. GG Shaw as well with purple fist blades. With blue fist blades as HM has, he also switches over to that pole sword to have fist blades on standby, and then goes right into the mix here. 1 RMB to GG Shaw, knowing that he won't hit the F2 from the Justina, won't go for clean, but he immediately throws down that drop down RMB. This is a great option selection just to go off of the range and knowing that if he, whether or not he wants to hold check it, he could. Otherwise, he could have it up to the meter out past that if he gets caught. But there's a combo breaker there. This means the Shayo is free for upper grabs, and the Justinas are right on the vicinity for those dashes if they need to be to use it.
Yeah, a lot of people entering on into the fray. Arano going to try to take the high ground here as Shaw is really just in the middle of everything now. Needs to play as defensively as possible. Very low health. Probably going to be sent back to an altar pretty quickly here. Good movement along the cliff face wall. Fong, though, trying to give chase from above. Isn't able to land the last shot, actually. Maybe worried about getting this stolen away from them as well. Another link. Shaw's in a lot of trouble now. Able to get across the hut. Might actually pull themselves to safety, but there's 3 people in hot pursuit. Fong deciding to use this time to loot up, recover just a little bit here. As now we got HM versus Shaw. And it's HM coming out the worst for wear. Gonna use the combo breaker early in this fight. Now, this is where all the targeting could go. HM around the corner now, trying to hit down Shaw's show on low, but it's gonna be Shaw taking out first. HM just gonna throw him to the wolves. Might get away for their efforts. XY, though, overstays on the corpse, is in a lot of trouble, gets knocked out.
Well, WZ Toronto with the yoink of the century, the R&B with the fist blades, and now this gives full opportunity for JL's HM to come right back. A nice scare rush from Toronto, though. Crouch LMB forces the clink on the cliffside. Gives Fong a little bit of a deterrence of where because he is going to end up. R&B blue focus goes out for the lethal jab. Instead, we're going to see the F-Wisp come out from Toronto. This is going to be a playmaker moment if he can throw this Wisp and catch the stagger off of Fong and throw on range shots. But for Fong, he's skywalking. He's keeping himself going through. He ain't going to be looking for any sort of chances for a scare rush here. If he goes for it, he gets caught by the Wisp throw. And then you can see HM, he's lurking. He really is lurking. He's the snake and the reeds, and he's looking to try to snag down there for an R&B.
Good movement by Fong, gonna get away from 10 ults before they get completely staggered out by the sandstorm. That being said, they're in an awkward position now. No health available, knowing that multiple people are trying to close in on their position. HM gonna be here. We have somebody also crossing over the rift as well. Fong taking to this guy once again. Will drop down though, clearly in view of Frostivus and company. Frost currently still at 0 kills, but has been playing a lot more aggressive as of late and looking to do the same here. Maybe try to snipe away this kill. Fong in trouble. Big plink, big knockdown on either side, and somehow Fong just runs on out, and now it's going to be Frostivus versus HM.
If he can get spaced out here, this is perfect, but Frostivus now has to decide upon finding him again. The HP threshold is reached. HM finds it, and so does Frostivus due to the HP bar being revealed. Now for Fong. Man, over by Igneous Bound, there's only so many places that can be having an armor swap, but he's going to go for a manual heal here. Whether or not he finds a common armor for the future, that's going to be up to determination. Otherwise, Frostwave finds him. There's a common armor swap for Fong. Gets himself the kite out, gets clinked, denies this point of this interest.
No.
Nice parry coming out from the blue focus, but the combo breaker is burned, and Fong doesn't have ultimate ready.
Yeah, Fong's in a lot of trouble now, having to burn that combo breaker with 10 seconds to try to stay alive versus 2 people chasing you down. Fong so far has been doing a really good job using vertical space and quick acceleration in order to prevent HM from just crashing their guard. But unfortunately, you can only do that so many times. Combo breaker has been re-attained. Fong has bought more space getting on top of the hut now. Good cross up along the far side, and somehow he is managing to keep the scramble situation going. The problem is we are now moving deeper into this game. 21 minutes in, we're going to start talking about Realm of Yangs, and beyond that, what has Fong done besides run away without much in the way of getting loot?
I mean, between that, he changes position. It seems the funny thing, too, is that in this round, it's actually between him and HM that have done that. They both, you know, we saw ASE's XY get fully focused out. He deterred the detention onto the Justina and then went it towards someone else. But forcing out between him and Fong, you know, if they go up against each other and it backs off, that's just one play to another. I know WZ Toronto, though, is kind of in the angsty position. CDY, 1-2's uppercut attempt comes out, looks for the fist blade, blue focuses, 1-2, no 3-piece. We don't like seeing those 1-2-3s as often, but we love seeing and enjoy seeing them. Now, WZ Toronto needs to back off completely, as is understandable. We know that Kylan has the dominance here for this Realm of Yang pass, as well as just being able to be fully healthied out as is. For WZ Toronto, he's going to make his way towards the end of the dunes south of Emberhawk. This is another Realm of Yang pass. Now, this is where ASE's XY and Spider going out. Wow, mid-air to multiple ultimate. Position-wise, not the idealistic, but Naraka, this could actually be ASE's demise right now.
Yeah, I mean, if XY manages to play this grounded, he could actually do a really good job of keeping everybody deflected, everybody off. Spider just going to be eliminated in an instant. XY doing a good job continuing to just play Vantage Point. HM looting corpse alongside XY, who keeps the Realm of Yang pass, and that is not the angle I expected here in game number 5.
Yeah, exactly. And that Spider going out from the game completely too, so this is nuts. And then one comes out here, one goes in, and it looks like Kaibao's gonna be the last room, but Edward Shishang, they're already off the rips. 1-2-3 coming out for Edward with his salvation pudding, giving him gold dual blades, gets caught by the hooked wings. A nice play against him, but Edward has ultimate ready, and now it's Liam versus Liam. I thought I'd never see the day. I love seeing these mirror fights, especially between Liams, because once one goes down, the other follows.
Mirror only in terms of pickups, though. Currently, Edward is way far behind in terms of resources, and that's going to be choosing denying any opportunity on a Pokeball on the other side. That was about as clean as you could get into Mirror.
Yeah, and now we're seeing ASE's XY against OUG's Kaibao. Now, Kaibao has his R&B. He goes for the 1-2, breaks off, looks for another LMB. Okay, we throw the blue focus. The Tumult Shulker is ready. The Zai ultimate is good to go, but he cannot F1. If he F1, he's caught in the wind circle wall. He's on the circumference. So it's really playing a prancing BA here, like he's dancing off to one to the next, throws a blue focus, burns combo breaker number 1, has ultimate, refreshes the combo breaker. Now it's up to him against this Mulch with the Wisp ready.
I'm in a lot of trouble here. Good job moving around still with the chain blades available, but XY is happy to just continue to play keep away. Good deflection on the approach. This is what the advantage point can give you. XY now dropping down as Kaibao invests a lot into trying to rush up top. Chainblade going to go out here pretty soon if KB isn't careful. There's the cross up alongside the back. Good sprawl. KB in trouble. Gonna be caught into the Temple Twin Wall now. Here comes the follow through. XY trying to get the kill. Can't land in KB. One more lease on life here. Gonna try to heal up. XY does the same. Trades across. XY has the armor, though is down to the fist. Needs to pick up a weapon. Try to get back into this one. KB looking to try to deny that one. XY on the rush down. Will be able to recover in this situation. Goes up top. Drops a wind wall. Sandstorm. KB looking for another angle in.
This might be a blue focus confirmation right here. 1-2, looking for the cross parry. Not gonna happen. Yeah, he does happen. He gets it. He gets victory. He gets his Roman Yang win. What the heck is happening this season, guys? We got a Zai 100% win rate. Oh my goodness. Gold katana, purple longsword, and engraving. I couldn't make this up. This is the RNG drop for the Zai of the century right now for the mid game. So coming off of this Roman Yang, she can look towards Fortress Kaviani. There's a lot of fights happening because, like I said, the gate or the cave opens up and players want to make their approaching, trying to earn themselves their keep. Otherwise, it is two Roman Yang gamers going to be having a fun and a blast around here, as well as Liam's.
Things going to be caught out in air there. Chuse is going to be able to just block their escape, but decides, hey, I want to get a bigger piece of the fight. Don't want to take this 1v1 duel for no real value. And this is an interesting one. A lot of verticality here. A lot of loot opportunity means that people are just kind of handshaking in a lot of situations. So it's close proximity. And of course, anybody can set things off, especially if somebody goes low, as is Star. But it isn't necessarily over just yet.
Yeah, it's not over just yet. CDY hasn't even used his ultimate here, which is something that the players would want to look at. The Vermilion's about to run out for him, though, so he has around 30 seconds before it does conclude. And for CDY, having to space off, this section of the Fortress of Kaviani has around 3 levels towards the secret rooms here and there. For DRG Fong, though, he's in the open corridor. He gets grapple bumps. He gets F1 instead of getting an extended knockback. He procs ult. He looks in for a Firefly if it's available. He does find it. So that gives him enough chances to get extra dashes to get more disengagement, but he's only getting a one time for 1 heal. The lobby is on his heels right now, making sure catching that Justina.
All right, CDY up top here, in plain view of everybody, but also incredibly healthy, so nobody wants to take the engage. Kaibao gonna be found trying to just restore that last little bit of armor. Drops down to the low level. Nobody looks like they want to go force a deeper fight versus this Zai, who for the most part is just waiting on the periphery. Very difficult for this character to take a full-on group fight, as could be the case here. And in fact, now might be in trouble. Edward, good fallback plan. Shaw just waiting on the periphery of this one to try to third-party Kaibao. Caught out inside of the windstorm. It's actually going to be the Temples going down first. Because the other Temples to the form of XY wants to try to enter into this one. Ultimate available, can disrupt this in an instant. But there are kills to be had. CDY trying to approach forward. XY going to be caught out by a quick fan strike there from Fong, I believe. Looking to walk back as Shaw is just trying to get away from Kaibao. Low health for both of these fighters. Shaw in a worse position for the time being. That being said, Kaibao struggling as well versus the lockdown. The shot breaks to the table. It's going to be both of them going down as the rest of the group drops on them from above and rains down hellfire.
Yeah, no more Vermilions in effect right now for CDY. He's on dangerous waters into this ravine, and XY gets the heck out of there. 1 elimination on the board. He's going to take any victory he can get. The shop has been refreshed for the gold items. Their players that have higher dark side coins in their inventory could work out for it. Now XY, his chance of actually rocking out this Forbidden Seal. He knows this island won't be able to take any attempt going back in there. So for this Romy Yang pass to be contested, no one's on it right now, but everyone's focusing towards this towards this island. The Temi Circle comes out from WZ Toronto as an insurance for defensive usage, but for Fong as well as XY, are like this is dangerous right now for Fong. He has to proc ultimate, as I said, because both Tumultuous could cycle out the V3 and the reset and the wisp. But then again, the drop down Naraka comes out, or one catch to the next. This is going to be a spotlight for whether or not Fong can disengage again and again.
Yep. We'll get a Rumble Game contestation here. CDY has passed. XY, though, wants to be able to trade back against it. Using the ring actually as coverage here. Nobody wants to actually enter in, as it's CDY versus Kaibao on the far side. Can the Zai keep the 100% win rate?
Bro. I can't even. I'm knocking on wood. We're gonna have to see because CDY right now is on this Kylan, and we haven't seen a Kylan versus the Zai. We've seen Lonnie, we see Mulch. Kylan's a different story. He can really just burst past the Zai and his ultimate. It's just whether or not we can see a TOD after the combo breaker. That's all it's really going to come down towards. Remember that engraving I mentioned. This is going to be something that could be revealed by Kaibao that really chips away at CDY's HP. But one element to the next, Gold Katana is scaled up. We're going to see it be used ultimate-wise preemptive.
CDY continuing to buy space up top. Kaibao wanting to trade, tries to take to the aerial acrobatics as well. Unfortunately, doesn't have the durability that CDY has been bringing to the table just by virtue of good movements. That being said, with the chain blades out, Kaibao's looking to turn this in an instant. CDY seems to not have an answer at all for the Zai at range. Trying to crash guard right now, but now it's only back to even, and Kaibao has the invisibility taking up top. CDY gonna invest in a blind shot, will be able to find something off the dash, and Kaibao's in trouble. We've lost it, 75% at best.
At best, exactly. And it was a good read on those tap dodges, I'll be honest, especially against the Kylan, where you're going to see Burst Arrow picked up, Gold Fist Blades, and a Rupture Gale Orb for CDY. And it kind of makes me wonder, you know, he had the reads on those stashes too. So for him to space out was the only other option after the Healing Guard. But man, having the victory like that, CDY makes it work, makes it happen. JL's HM, though, did not win his Rumyang, actually losing against Battle Shishang. So for right now, having a Justina on Rumyang 2, or like, you know, with one Justina and one Zai, this is going to be where JL's HM really has to just find where the Zai is. Because even if he doesn't have to, even if he doesn't know she's on Rumyang depletion, even if he doesn't see her enter the Rumyang and he sees her after with no buff, one thing's for certain is that Justina is also counteraction to Zai, because even with the F1 active, Kaibao, as a Zai, could get caught by the Justina freeze, and it's all over at that point, and it could be a TOD. But Frostbiss, my man's in the corner. He's just waiting this out. Playing for placement, I respect it.
Yeah, I would respect it too if he wasn't in 14th place and needs probably a few more kills to make that final jump up the ranking chart. This seems like, unless he's about to pick up kills at the end here, which by virtue of not getting kills right now, he isn't getting a material advantage, makes this a very dicey call for somebody who traditionally hasn't been doing great in duels or big battles at the end.
Yeah, and I think if he finds last second hits, he's done it before. We got like 3 eliminations in the game circle, so like he could be faltering towards that direction. But this is going to be seen about the loss of the other Rumyang. This is Battle Shang versus JL's HM. Scare Rush is good. Hammer Breaker was utilized, so we had to use ultimate. We go for Stagger. The Cavloom is a lot more detrimental than what we're hoping for. Imprint's good. Looking at whether or not Shishang wants to use his ultimate here, he gets a nice uppercut extension into TOD. That's a GG's. Once he got the uppercut, the ultimate proc, that was the launch. That was the play. JL's HM having that 3.5 minute threshold now for the remaining depletion has to just space throughout Porches Kaviani. Otherwise, like I said, he's looking for that Zai. As big as Op right now to go through. He is the biggest counter towards her, and they entered the cave. This could be a close pocketed fight for the next minute.
All right, Bao's still in it right now. Decent position with the ultimate available to maybe try to take a little bit more of aggression. I think that what I would like to look for here is them to just divide and conquer, because I think that you need multiple kills and that big potential to bring it home by not only just getting Rumyang depletion off you, obviously, but beyond that, just snowballing the rest of this game. I don't think that a 1 or 2 kill Zai is ever going to be able to stand up to, say, CDY 3 kills there on the Kailin.
Yeah, no, exactly. Considering that with CDY playing out the Kylan at 3, knowingly winning out his Rumyangs and just picking up the loot along the process, Kaibao doesn't really have the opportunity to be that safe, considering that Kylan has the amount of mitigation that he does. Zai really is just a glass cannon at the end of the day. It's usually, if she plays defensively, it's limited by her ultimate, because her ultimate changes her stance, right? She doesn't have really much options except using her whip chain. And then here comes Kaibao with his engraving. He showcases it to HM. Now the HM knows that this weapon has the Jade is in effect right now. Kaibao looks for his heal. A drop down R&B from the fan was a maker from Fong. But having to see if this ultimate proc comes out because of nature's decision, that's where Kaibao is going to lose almost over half his armor and could get positioned in his ravine to get eliminated.
Yep, Kaibao gonna be chased down here. Not a position you want to be in on Zai, because that inevitably means multiple people are coming your way. That's gonna force out the chain blades earlier and gonna have to split that direction multiple ways. Caught out by Temult. This could be end of the road. Goes invisible. down to about half health. Going to be able to catch out another person inside a Chainblade volley. Fong gonna have to use combo breaker, but unfortunately Kai Bao is worn down and will be eliminated here by HM.
And the Soul Bloom is picked up, so he gets rid of his Realm Yang depletion. It's all good, fine, and dandy. He's got to space out between two dashes. He finds one reset here, has no grapples to his name. I'm not even sure if that shop is available for him on the west side of the circle. So if he does find him grapples, that would be the best moment, because everyone right now is in the ravine just tailing out. XY is just throwing these whisk throws because he has to, just to go back into cooldown. Demolch has gold dual blades with a Kabloom. For right now, if XY can catch someone with the grapple bump into it, he could potentially reset it with the wisp if he was preemptive for it. He's chasing right behind Chishang though. For Spirit Well, we got a Mystic Might, and it's outside of the Moonbane range. So this is obviously going to be the opportunity for him. We're going to see himself have a jabbing as well as the engraving and having a Venom Tip Bar Bolt. I'm not sure he's going to be able to use that, but we do see a chance for Frostwolf to have a Stanchion Sky Pillar, having a Sap Jade, having the jabbing, having two Sap Jades in fact, and a Cyan Fan. We saw that earlier from Edward where he saw him go for the 1-2-3 into the shield throw, so that's something I actually want to see if he does again. And then obviously seeing CDY with his Jades, Sap Jade, Rupture Gale, Soft Like Gecko Foot, Roger's Grip, having, if I'm not mistaken, a Desperation, best in slot by the way for Kylan V2 gamers, because once he's below 50% HP, he's able to get an immediate damage boost outright.
XY, good vantage point. Unfortunately, already a little bit of a target because he's down that bit of armor. Fong is going to be the one to give chase. Unable to get a kill so far. Fong, I can understand, is putting on the gas right here, right now. Basically needs to eliminate everybody else in the lobby here and then in the next game if he wants a chance at making it to finals. Currently, though, he's been denied any opportunity to do so. Across the rest of the board, we're seeing who's still alive, still who has a chance. Frostivus going to be the one to watch all the way in 13th place. Has one elimination still around. Perhaps that elimination can come from the form of XY, who is actually going to be given the breathing room to recover their armor, as right now it's going to be Chuzane and others wanting to instead go for the Spirit Well.
Yeah, and the Spirit Well being Mystic Mike, Chishang is the one who has the most benefit, one of the Kylan or one of the Liams on lobby, because he can proc over front preemptive, but he wasn't able to proc it preemptive. That's okay. He still wants to take the chase down. He finds Fong. He finds no combo breaker. Just seen it perfect. We're looking for the whole LMBs. We're looking for the clinks. We're looking for the blues. We're looking for the uppercut, and that could be kill shot potential. There it is. R&B, the elimination, 4 eliminations right there. Soul Bloom pick up. Chishang looks to exit the building. You Mr. President, he's on the move. This is going to be a shot light right for Chishang if he can look for another kill, because he found the other Justine in the lobby, and he looks like he's got a vendetta between these two.
Yep, good movement by Chuzang. HM gonna have to use the combo breaker early in this one. Sent on the run. Temulch gonna fire off a tornado, trying to catch them up. HM, good movement, gonna launch themselves all the way to the far side of the canyon. Unfortunately, Bauda's representative knows exactly where HM decided to go. XY also going to be entering into this one. It's just jockeying for position at this point. Anybody losing an exchange is probably going to be the next target of all 4 members coming into this one. So everybody just wants to get their own little domain established. We have 6 minutes left on the clock.
6 minutes left on the clock. 5 or 6 players actually looking to be on the outskirts. I'm pretty sure, though, when everyone comes out here for this play, if HM gets caught into this area control, it's going to be going down to 4. For HM right now, Scarage goes for the Clink. It's a 700 HP, 1-2 burnt F2. He is going to probably get Liam ulted right there. Nice double dash coming out from this place, but I think he is chipped off of here for the last Liam orb. Kill shot. Nicely done. Shank just knocked down both of the Justinas in the lobby. He's at 5 eliminations this game. And seeing Frostbus 1 elimination with the BBE, well, with, you know, repping the BBE brand and having the Lonnie pick, he could end up just, you know, basically just holding himself out for the end game circle, and it would be his best case scenario. Otherwise, Shang, he is hunting. He's want to look for any weak targets who are looking at him as being too aggressive, and he's going to double down onto it.
Chuzang right up against the wall of the storm. Frostivus is actually just going to handshake, walk away, and I think that this Bao fighter is very happy because he has that ability to just use the bow and arrow to continue to whittle down his opponents. Legendary armor means that as long as he's sustaining for the time being, he can find himself in a very comfortable position, collapsing right before final circle is established. XY going up top, looking for a bit of an angle in. Frostivus lost armor since the last time we checked. Chuzang, going to be repelled there. Good movement by Frostivus. Has benefited from using stat before. Is happy to go back upon the favored weapon. Unfortunately, this attempt to heal up their armor going to be denied by XY in company, just raining down shots upon BBE's fighter. CDY, though, now going to be opened up. Frosted is just wanting to draw aggro wherever they possibly can. Unfortunately, they're almost out of armor, and this means that the Lonnie is going to have to hold.
Yeah, and it's going to be 2 dashes down here. Frostbite looks to detect the teleport for the goalie stance, backs off again, takes another dash, has 1 more orb to be able to be thrown out, and at least getting a 200 heal from then on. Now CDY, he's already on. He's making sure he can lock him to the zone, so Frostbite uses it defensively to push him out. But the lobby is still looking past her. They find the F1 usage. They know they can lock her out from this game. 1 combo breaker to the next. They won't care about that Liam. They want to make sure this Lonnie cannot survive, and that twist throw was a wild one, but it definitely does work, and work makes numbers, and we're going to see CDY get the elimination because of it. Otherwise, though, Chishang having the chance of picking up this elimination against CDY would be kind of a miracle, considering getting this Kylan out the game is a big moment. And Chishang has 1 more orb. If he wants to throw it down right now, he could just throw him against another target. But XY is just going to take the time to loot back there. And for CDY, he's on death's door. Kabloom not going to be used. It's going to be using the zone take damage as a process of the damage out of it. CDY gets a lot of damage out in the Kabloom drop down. Explosive armor doesn't matter. There's the 1-2, and the Sobloom pickup for Tishang would be good, but then he finds an R&B as XY looks to try to stagger out, and he actually kills Tishang because of this, because of the zone.
Oh my goodness.
Out of that was such an anticlimactic finish. He's grinning as Y can be, but he knows that he put there. Menace, to say the least.
What a bizarre ending to that one. But I've been talking about XY. He has all these tools. He has yet to be able to fully lock in, but honestly, a good ending. Baodog going to be the one that actually stands victorious above them all at the very end of it, though.
Yeah, this is kind of funny, too, knowing that when we saw the Spirit Well get claimed for the Mystic Might, it was all hands on deck, which is what I really like to see from the environment. Game 6 begins, where we see Spider, XY, both starting off the Artisan's Grove, having loot, no Fireflies picked up, but that's okay, starting Rage, as we've seen time and time again, and we're putting out here for the plays of the lifetime. Over by Sun Cave, Gigi Shaw has his Fireflies ready to go on Syra, as well as JL's HM.
All right. Well, we're going to start with HM and XY Spider going to be trading against one another. Spider's been getting into a lot of these very early exchanges, actually, and already is being sent on the run. XY going to have a lot of reach available here off of this staff, this spear. Spider going to try to trade back here, up close and personal with the fists. Trying to break through. XY manages to reset their weapon. Spider now on the chase down. No abilities available for XY. XY just gonna have to go off the parry. Will be able to fight it. That's been a weakness to Spiders today, and that will be a first blood.
Good man's got himself for the first kill, has himself for the first elimination gold bonus, and still has Artisan's Grove. But CDY is approaching towards this. Man was at Noble Cave, has no armor still to this day. Unfortunate. Overtide's the Gamma Mine, where we saw the end of the match for the last Morsile. We're going to see JL's HM trying to look for a yoink here for the kill against Star. Star in the corner here with purple dual blades. Might be left alone to his lonesome. 1, 2, 3 releases. We're looking for the crouch LMV. We find another V2. We could throw it at Star right now with jump LMVs to the next. Sobel picked up from Shaw. The let go of the orb comes out, and HM still has another day to live. Has no grapples, but he still is putting on this aggressive pressure.
Yeah, HM, only with the common armor right now, still decides he wants to go for something. Shaw giving chase, actually not turning out to HM, even in this kind of weakened state here. So the JL representative going to try to move up top. Fong in trouble as well. As now HM is also going to lose that armor proc. Has the ultimate available, and that ability on Cyber to just delay things in an instant could be the reason why Shaw doesn't want to try to take them down. Instead, all the focus is going to be on Fang for the time being. HM going to be able to armor swap back up to common now. Fong called out from the tree, down to just a sliver, nowhere to go. I think he's about to drop.
Yeah, Syra ultimate might cross the threshold for the kill elimination for JL's HM. He can look for it. GG Shaw is looking for the scare rushes. The double dashes are coming out from HM, and we're seeing Kai Bao make his approach here. Hopefully get the elimination. He does, in fact, and the solo gets picked up by GG Shaw potentially, but there's going to be the ultimate. Nope, it looks like Kai Bao was the reason that the ultimate was still available. And now for this JHM's ultimate being done, all it's going to be coming down to the deterrence is whether or not he can catch this orb or a stagger from a nearby opponent. Nice F1 usage, avoids the Lonnie ball as well. But JD's HM goes in the building, looks for an armor swap, finds it. Blue rarity, takes a 1-2 to the face. Goalie stance might not come out here just in time for GG Shaw to force that pressure. But for Blue focuses to the next. Jails HM finds a nice common armor swap. 1-2s, backs off for the 3. No potential for the Blue focus for the Clink. F1 comes out. Frostfist is in the mix. Somehow Frostfist has shown up here, rendering slash, and he gets his first elimination up against Jails HM, and he throws it down, even with no armor available for him.
Frostfist gonna need to restore everything here and maybe just immediately turn the gas back on. Like I said, there is that pressure for where Frostfist cannot afford to give kills to the people above him, but simultaneously he's gonna need to try to catapult himself above XY in particular, who already on a similar, on the same character has gotten themselves a kill as well. Frostfist going to now engage with Shaw. John Trouble on the trade. Frostfist try to get around the corner. Will be able to break grapple. Needs this here and now. Shaw with a good job dipping in, breaking at least one more little proc of the armor here. Frostfist going to try to dive forward. No tech chase. Both of these guys just going to try to slug it out. Frostfist getting the worst of this exchange for the time being. We'll get their F back up. The question is, will that be enough value in time? Shaw wants to give chase. Frostfist just trying to get on away from this player. Find the farm up, find the repair. We'll be able to get a bit of armor back as Shaw will scale.
And there's a big chance right now for Shaw to look for heals to go at 100% restoration. For Frostfist, he's still down to 1/3 of an armor bar. He looks to take the fight to aggression. This is what we like to see. One crouch eliminates to the next, looking for the blue focus horizontal. Nicely done. Burns a combo breaker, but we know the Alani ult is available. Frostfist knows that as well. Holding out the blue focus here, looking to hold check. Knows the Alani ult's going to come through here. Gets caught to a cross parry. Unfortunate. F1 combo breaker comes out. Nice double dash play. It looks like Shaw is looking to try to throw another one. Hold blue focus horizontal comes out. The third ball comes out. Goalie stance isn't even needed. Frostfist does get eliminated. Shaw takes the elimination threshold for this and eliminates Frostfist for his first life. Now, Fong is inside of the Sigma mine, just looting up here. Frostfist in soul form, maybe making his way towards Crow's Nest. I'm going to take the assumption towards that area because he doesn't have any sort of other way or other place to go. In the meantime, though, Forbidden Seal at Cest Winery. We know that WZ Toronto is spacing out, but there's 4 players here. A lot of Moonbanes are being used, or purchased, I should say, but only one is going to be able to be used, which also kind of dictates using your opponent's gold against them in their favor. If you know that someone else has a Moonbane, you could use the Moonbane at the last possible moment where they wouldn't be able to use it, and that's 4,000 Darktide coins wasted. So for right now, into the first round Yang, a lot of the players are just going to be waiting their times to get in there as soon as possible.
Yeah, Roman Yang, I think, is going to be a defining factor for especially the people who are on that bubble. They both want access, and so what that means is that we can be getting a lot of fights around the Roman Yang spawn, but beyond that, they also really need to win it. Being put in a Yang depletion where you then have your moves kind of laid out for you, where you desperately have to try to force fights, you can't play on your own terms, could spell doom. And so this is really going to be where a lot of these players most need to show their stuff and the reason why they are there in competitive to begin with.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I just looked at XY's Jade, or from ASC, and this man has max attack on Kylan. That's kind of smart, I'll be honest, because one thing that comes out is that Kylan has so much survivability that he might as well just go out for DPS checks and then just outlives the opponent by knocking them out entirely. Now we're switching over to Bautis Shang here against WZ Toronto with the blue armor, having no chance to reset, no chilled quarters beyond the, and there's going to be the V1 active for Toronto if he gets caught by Shang. Shang has F2. We've seen F2 catch someone outside of the outskirts of a building. Now 1-2 from Rano comes out for a grapple bump. We burn the combo breaker. We space out. We're looking for an armor. Shang won't find it, at least not to the immediate sense, but Rano's going to kite around the corner and seeing where his opponent ends up. A full reset right now for Shang. But we still have Romy Yangs to consider, considering that these guys are holding these keys. OUG's Kaibao actually in the first round. XY is holding onto his key. Frostfist, though, can't make his way to his Romy Yang gate, so he will have to back off against Jail's HM. But he did find a purple armor somewhere in the midst of all this. So for him, it's really going to be a play for the Spearwell if he can go for a purple weapon and then hopefully not get caught out by one of the Romy Yang players in between.
Yep, Shaw. Very happy with current pass. Just going to find the entrance here. It's going to be Kaibao versus XY. Love to see this. XY desperately needing to win this one versus someone who's kind of operating as one of those gatekeepers, SV, someone who has already confirmed themselves a spot, a placement in finals, and now is just playing for the peanuts.
Yeah, the Scare Rush comes out though. XY makes his approach. Cannon Shot comes out. Nice double dash. We get the clink. We know Soul Break, right? Okay, cool. One LMB to the next. Burns out XY's F combo breaker. Now for Kaibao, he fakes out for the bleed, for the heal, and finds a Velocity Untold. XY knows who his opponent is and what he has. So for right now, he's a threat. So looking for cannon shots, looking for chip damages. Doesn't confirm the second one, but he holds his blue focus in face value. XY jumps to avoid the stagger off of it. Gets caught to 1-2s. Procs ult. Like I said, 60% attack boost with 12% mitigation. That's all he's got in his hands. And he's looking to full throttle this while the Liam ult is active.
Yeah, this is a pretty chaotic situation. XY gonna be bound up by Kaibao. No stagger. Kaibao just going to use this opportunity to try to heal back up and use that material advantage. XY trying to just dive back in there, apply more deep pressure. Kaibao caught in the air. XY might be able to bring this one back. Now it's a cannon shot. Swap fast enough. Kaibao try to go for a clink. Now it's one touch scenario. Either way, XY to the air. Splash damage across the tower. Not able to get enough, so they're going to get back in there for melee. XY, blue focus, not going to try to unleash it now. Kaibao going to heal across the way as XY will try to do the same. There's the entry point. Kaibao, with a massive material advantage coming off of the reset, is able to get more of the purple armor back. So XY's got to do this the hard way, slowly work through the defenses. F available right now for ASC's representative. Big stumble here. Kaibao could be in trouble as they're going to cross up once again. No time left inside realm. Yang, and that is going to be Kaibao taking it.
Yeah, Kaibao hold check of Destiny and Velocity Untold is a match made in heaven, and that's coming out to his victory. We are going to see Spider win out his Rumyang and DRG Fong as well. CDY hunted out by GG Shaw. GG Shaw finding a nice parry. Oh my goodness, a continuation from Tarka regime. This is going to be something where Tarka can shine or, you know, be snuffed out here. Goalie stance can go thrown out here. F stance to mitigate it, but this forces CDY in a weird position, right? Because he doesn't have F ability anymore. His active ultimate comes out to the value. But I'm pretty sure once the third party comes in here from Frostbus, it's going to be an unfortunate circumstance. I already hear Duncan said, no. One thing is next, though. If CDY lives, it's another day to die. Because if CDY can get this Scare Rush, finds an armor swap, he might be finding himself a huge pattern for disengagement. With 2 targets on his back right now, Naraka, it's looking kind of deadly.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, it's just blood in the water. The Sharks are swarm, and CDY, with good movement, is able to recover a little bit of armor off of a swap. But unfortunately, that time that they took to navigate into this position means they're right back where they started yet again. Less than half health, multiple people coming their way. Nobody disincentivized to just go after anybody else in this line. So CDY is just going to get juggled, brought over to a corner, and it is going to be SS1 CDY melted there and eliminated.
You know, the horizontal hold checks comes out here. We know there's going to be no less than the wear for this, but GG Shaw is pressuring himself out here, having the opportunity to just heal once to the next. Obviously, these fan R&Bs are a bit detrimental to look towards, but I don't know. It's kind of like we're watching a horror film, and everything kind of comes out in slow motion, but can't do anything to stop it. XY though gets caught to the 1-2 jump LMB, comes out to the R&B, then the spinal splice. XY looks to tap dodge for the LMB, or GG Shaw finds a tap dodge against the V1 slash. XY using an immediate slash. Now it reveals it's V1. Now it's GG Shaw's opportunity to notice that there isn't really much to come off of this ultimate. There's a single slash. Backs off again. GG Shaw gets caught. He's going to have ultimate by the time that this burns healing guard. So this should be okay for GG Shaw unless he gets burned out. There's the ultimate Brock. There's the knockback. There is the staggers. The F1 comes out. XY doesn't have any more ultimate slashes, but the reposition right now, it's a detrimental. One R&B to the next. Scarix is good. Looking for the drop down. Throws the ball. Looks for a stagger. Doesn't catch it. He gets sustained though. That's all that matters. Up with an R&B blue focus. Again, slow motion. We talking about the horror film. And there's the goalie stance. There's a knockback. GG Shaw still has another chance here to find an armor swap. He does, in fact, doesn't get it. He still makes his approach though in the zone. But you know, Spider, he's already onto it. And he's already looking for this kill elimination with the last hit confirmation.
Spider fighting inside Shadow, gonna be able to get the sprawl versus GG, and that's gonna be GG's for them, in fact. So with Shaw knocked out, they're fate is sealed here. Notably, Fong has gotten 3 kills, the most out of the bottom half of this bracket. And I do wonder if this is somehow going to maybe create the catapult necessary for him to play spoiler to HM, Frostivus, and XY, if not outright bring him very, very close to making it to that bubble. As it currently stands, I don't think he has enough points accumulated from other games to really make a mark, but this could be absolutely agonizing for HM and company unless they can really begin to get some more kills on the board.
Now this is going to be just a spotlight right now for SR Spider. One element to the next. F1 Lonnie comes out, and it's a V1, I should say, for Spider to disengage. XY just get a full reset. Now here's the thing. XY is going towards a Romiang gate. He knows it's available. He's backing off to this corner. He's trying to get into it. If he gets into this Romiang, I mean, this would be big. Frostbit still taking the risk in the realm of Yang. This is obviously where dire straits need to be had. But the problem is that Kai Bao has this. I love it too. The problem is Kai Bao is stacked beyond belief. This is going to be the playmaker, Naraka. Can Frostbit come out on top?
Yeah, like I said, Kai Bao working once again as gatekeeper here. Real big challenge for Frostivus, needs to rise to it right here, right now. So far, relatively even on the trades. Frostivus going to have to try to tech chase back against Kai Bao. Kai Bao actually getting the worst of another entry point here. Good stagger here. Frostivus with a lot of tools still available to try to make a mark. Will be able to also play delayed to try to get F back here in about 10 seconds as Kai Bao is about at half health. Good roll forward. Kai Bao just completely called out here. Another dash and a wipeout. Oh my goodness, that was brutal.
So clean to see, so nicely held together by the twine. We know that JL's HM, though, is also on that position right now to make this happen. DRG Fong Carousel Infinite comes out. It's still in this patch, so we can still do it. And Fong gets caught out. We know Fong is upset because, hey, bro, it ain't going to work the next time we get the updated patch. But JL's HM's like, listen, we'll take what we can get. Heartstopper Kick, Gold Spear, Switch Dazzle. We might want to think about that Switch Dazzle, but picking up those two, picking up the combination of the Heartstopper and the Gold Spear is definitely big on top of that gold armor. So, with that being coming through, we're outside of the Romiang gate. We still have 7 players total to go through in this matchup. And man, Frostbit is catching his opponent in there. And now he's up against XY again. I mean, this is V1 versus V2. I mean, do we want to take this fight? It is really up to the determination. Otherwise, if XY just wants to just chill out here for the next couple of minutes, that would be fine with me. The only thing he has next to worry about is just looking towards using the time of getting that spear well. Otherwise, one of the Romiang winners will definitely contest that, and especially towards Kai Bao having opportunity for that V2 and using Celestra to his advantage. There's a lot of flame. I'm pretty sure, like we've seen from Mike, other players are taking dictation to do it, is to, if you're not a Liam, break all the plaques at any will. Flaming Cage is included at this time of day inside of Celestra. And because if a Kai Bao or if anyone else, other Liams, decide to throw an orb at one of those, you are at the death sentence.
Well, Frostivus in the midst of it once again. Good clink. Fong in trouble, having to dash back. Good knockdown into Pokeball here. Might be a little bit too early, though, because here comes a pretty opportunistic call. Frostivus is actually getting away from this whole thing due to the third party. We'll be able to heal back up as Fong is just going to be slaughtered. There's the knockout. I don't think that he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate for Fong to get kitted. Oh, but Frostbus is kitted out. He's making sure he can show up like he's a pimp my ride, man. He's like, yo, look at this before, look at this after, and look at my kit. He's got the velocity untold potentially down the road. If he can pick that up, that'd be perfect. Perfect. Everything down to the last minute detail. 1 LMB to the uppercut comes out. And for Frostbus, he's got 36 grapples, 6 vitalities, 4 armor powders. Now, the 4 armor powders kind of sus G, but at the same time, if he's looking to try to survive in these fights, it's all about regaining the HP back. And obviously, for the next minute, White Tiger's prowess is still closely proccing in. I'm not sure what other Jades he has, whether he has an advanced heal, a tuna, things of that nature. But if Frostbus has any of those Jades to kind of work into this end game circle, this would be really great for him in this overall.
Kai Bao trading with Frostivus. And realizing that because of the whole pimp my ride scenario, it's a very scary place to be. It's only getting worse for Kai Bao right now. Frostivus just wanted to go the old 1-2 up against this person that he just dueled in Realm of Yang. The Kai Bao, well, guess the armor swap. It's just going to have to try to get out of dodge.
Kind of curious in seeing how the F1 comes out because Kai Bao just burned it and the whole lobby saw the B2 might be coming out preemptive. Just, oh, no, he's done. XY finds the elimination. This battle is between XY and Frostbus right now. It's a 1.3 difference. It's kind of close. We need to knock down XY before the multiplier starts to go into effect. Otherwise, if for the placement points, it really makes a difference. And now for XY, for Frostbus, both contending for this spot into top 12 to knock out one or the other. Obviously, there's a potential right there for them to look at endgame circle of getting eliminations and passing Edward, but that position comes out, fortuitous for one or the other. For Frostbus, though, all he has to do is play for time. Honestly, right now, for his armor powders, I'm really looking at that I'm looking at it and I'm seeing it going down, now down to 3. There's a shop on the east side of the Immortal Temple. He can make his way towards it. We are seeing a engraving that Heartstopper has mentioned, but also a Juggernaut on JL's HM for him to have. So for him on the side road, that's going to be the case. Frostbus, though, has a Phoenix Blast, has a Poison Splash, Velocity Untold, as I mentioned. That's all he really needs. Roger's Grip as well, which saves him the initial usage of his weapons beginning drop from the ground, which is gold nunnies. Stamina Strike, double Stamina Strike on XY, still on max attack, still having only 2 mitigation jades. He's taking his time to the shot. 20,000 Dark Tide coins. That means he can start throwing his money into the jades and hoping he gets something outwards. We are going to see a Dragon War on Spider, though. Fire was target lock, soft set gecko put, Juggernaut level 5, and then okay, listen. Spider with the Dragon War, the Juggernaut level 5, anyone gets caught with nothing to their name and it's over for them. They can get caught out.
How does this keep happening, man? How does Spider just submarine into like a billion kills, Juggernaut level 4 or 5, and an absolutely dominant read on the entire lobby? Because he's sucking kills away from everybody else to the point at which Frostbus, right here on the cusp at 2 kills, may just be denied by sheer volume from Spider an opportunity to make it to finals.
It's crazy. And the crazy part is all 5 of his kills was because he had Juggernaut from the beginning of the game. Yeah. So he got it somewhere in the beginning. He got lucky, but more importantly, just because of RNG, the kills themselves earn themselves a piece, like by piece by piece, by layer by layer. Merciless Havoc picked up from XY. He's using a common staff, so he picked that up from the shop, which is great. But finding a Merciless Havoc gives him a lot of the edge that we saw from Frost back in Pedoria, where he had it as an Octos. So having that type of Jade on the field right now in Celestra, this circle looks to be closing out towards Sunnyvale Dwelling. We only have a couple of surfaces past these buildings that it's going to allow for the players to start hiding around, but man, Arano, the server of the piece, just hit Spider with that Heartstopper. A little bit spooky there, man. It was crazy too, is that Arano is using a common, a blue spear, but he's got a gold rarity one. He's just holding out till when he loses this blue spear, he knows he can go all out for the next one.
Well, we got 7.5 minutes left for the final game, and we got quite the roster still available here. I think that basically at this point, HM is out of this unless he could get Spirit Well here and absolutely pivot this into multiple kills, including this chase on onto XY right now. XY, similarly, if Frostbus and HM want a chance at making it, needs to be shut down quickly, because any chance that he has going forward at picking up more kills means that he's able to create a bigger gap between the current 12 and 13 positions. That being said, he has to burn all of his abilities and his ultimate here just to slink away to safety. It's going to be a while before he's back in this one, and HM is on the chase.
Yeah, he's going to get 2 heals, 1 vitality, 1 armor. He actually might go for a triple here. He definitely will be able to. Now, HM lost track of him because he thought he was inside that building, top of that corner, when in fact he was in the other side. What's crazy enough, though, Spider was able to find that Spirit Well. Unfortunate. He was contesting Frostbus for it. I don't even know where Frostbus is right now, but he definitely was. He definitely is looking to reset here because Spider has gold longsword, has that the gold armor, but if there's a chance right now for Spider to go all in, this is the case scenario. Dreadful Whale, though, from XY is showcased to be revealed once more. So for anyone to kind of pick that Jade up is in their eyes right now as the golden moniker.
There's 4 inevitabilities in life, SV. There's death, taxes, there's Frostbus just disappearing off the map and playing for placements, and there's Spider for some reason becoming an unstoppable juggernaut.
It's true. It's true. It's like the height limit for Scorsese at the roller coaster. Otherwise, things are going to be up for grabs for XY. He could get caught into a parry. Not going to be the case. He finds this Lonnie ultimate to be a little bit more annoying than he thought. So now he's going right back to Immortal Temple. He can go for 1 heal, but I'm pretty sure the lobby knows where he's at exactly. Yeah,
this collapse needs to happen quickly as well. Spider going to be the one actually finding the entrance point. This is not the person, if you're looking at the bottom half of the bracket, that you want to see get the kill onto XY, just because it's once again denying that access point for Frostbus or HM. But great movement by XY, keeps him alive, squeezed right up against the Storm side, though, he's run out of materials for the most part and time as well. Will be able to build up armor here, but Spider calls him out once again, and now it's a desperate scramble. XY with basically nothing left on top of him. Trying to move up into this cupboard. Very, very much the focus of the entire lobby right now is just who's going to get that final kill. Multiple scale rushes coming their way. XY in trouble. Staggered. Spider going to be the one following him through. And now he's stuck inside of the Bane's Breath. Gets caught out by it.
Now, best case scenario right now is that it's given to Arano because he is Gucci as can be, but he has to really be worried out. We just saw Frostivus get eliminated by Arano. Wait a second. I need a line of sight right now. I need to see what happened in that. Give me a replay right now. What just happened? Because Frostivus just literally lost all his health bar to die out like that, and Arano just picked up a little bit of HP because of it. Regardless, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. JL's HM still in the matchup, still needs 2 points, 2.4 really to go for it, both a placement as well as 2 eliminations. Otherwise, multiplier could work out for placement and first place. HM though takes a basket shot from the points, jump LMBs from Spider to the crouch bow shot to the stand up. Nice, 1 LMB to the next, 1 jump LMB. We know there's going to be a chance for the blue focus fan. Not obviously with the Syra ultimate, that would be the play, and that's going to be what forces the lobby to take their hands on towards the Syra direction.
Yep, HM, I think, also will not be able to round the corner. Frostivus was denied the opportunity, and now it looks like the same will be said for JL. Early Syra ult, double scatter from Arano and Spider. And it looks like we're going to have one decisive duel between 2 people already confirmed for finals. It's just a matter of Spider fighting for a legacy of breaking records and making a statement here with perhaps the highest score count differential between first and second place we've seen in a long while here in the NBPL.
Exactly. Taking out 18 points and still climbing out here if you can knock out HM, but it looks like Arano is looking to make that stead. RMB to the next. Spider looking for the RMB fan, catches it. Oh, Arano goes for the hit, and there's the RMB. That's going to be knocking on HM for this lobby. Bow shot, headshot comes out. Spider has at least 1 heals come through. Catches a combo usage from Arano. Arano looking for the hold check for the Velocity Untold, making sure he can go for the ult proc for the Justina, seeing what the decision is going to be made from Spider. F1 combo breaker, knows it's going to be had, looking for a dash past it, knowing that dash was going to happen. Spider uses his ultimate, and then an imprint comes out. Arano throws it out. 1 dash to the next, having to see about a reset for 1 heal. Arano can look around the corner and dash catch it. Nice kick coming out here, but I'm pretty sure Spider's going to be looking for another ore to be thrown out here in Naraka.
Yeah, Spider definitely has the ability to heal here. He could actually turn this on a dime. Will have to freeze early in this one for Arano. Now is going to be traded back. Spider finds the access point on top of this forced-in combo breaker. Arano now in trouble. Will just be able to round the corner once again, get onto the rooftop. Spider trying to follow. Doesn't want to overinvest any of their abilities here. Only 22% rage available, and so it's all going to come down to who could drop this F better. Arano in a position where he wants to stall, just try to find combo breaker once again. Good job launching across the side. Doesn't have the time necessary to get armor. Is also in a position where they miss on that last exchange. Will have to use the combo breaker earlier, and Spider should be able to just clean it up. There we go. Another finish in favor of one of the greatest of all time. It's Spider taking another game.
4 MVPs, 1 day. Just another day in paradise. Having Spider earn himself this spotlight, I mean, without question, without any sort of doubt. It was just a matter of when it was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, things come out here in this